Might be muted. Lol, JK. Yeah, it's not a podcast without technical difficulties, so I'm going to start that again. Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful week of the ZombSquad Podcast. I'm your host, ZeMadLobster, and as always, it is a pleasure to see all of you here today. I'm joined once again by my wonderful, spectacular co-hosts. It is Kyle and Spike. How are you both doing today?
I'm good and tired.
Good and tired.
Ooh.
Well, maybe don't wake up early next time. I think
I want to get that raid done before reset, man.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, when you have goals like that, you gotta go for them. You just gotta do it.
Yeah,
You gotta do it. But anyway, but we are joined this week by two wonderful guests. That's right, guys. We have the second episode of a 5-man podcast, and we are joined this week by, well, one guy I am going to be featured in an upcoming video of his, and I'm very, very excited for you all to see it. It is JokerAlex. How are you doing, my dude?
Hey, Jack. I'm doing all right, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have you on, dude. And we are also joined by another wonderful guest. We are actually very excited to talk to this guy to see what he brings to the table of zombies. It's Mister Galaxy. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing good, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I've been looking forward to this episode. I know this is going to be a wonderful discussion. So I've really been looking forward to this, that's for sure. And also, guys, it is the first episode where we can finally show custom zombies gameplay. Myself and Kyle played this map, which is Blizzard. We played this last night, and we actually had a pretty decent run. We managed to hit the end game, which you guys will see in the gameplay. But custom zombies is taking over my life. I'm sorry. Rip to my Xbox, guys. I'm gonna be probably on PC for a very, very long time. So, rip my Xbox, boys. I do apologize. I will try and get on there as much as I can, but that's what happens. That's what happens. But anyway, guys, before we get into the guest questions, we have two announcements to make for ZombSquad. The first announcement is, you probably saw the tweet. ZombSquad After Hours is officially coming back. It is officially returning from the... I need to work out the date there. 15th. 18th. From the 18th of August, ZombSquad After Hours will officially be coming back, and we will be doing... and we're going to change it up a little bit as well. This is going to be a way we're going to ask some of you guys, well, one of you guys each day, to join us for a game that will then go up on the channel. And so, yeah, one of you lucky contestants might actually get to play with us, get to play with the ZombSquad boys. And we are very, very excited to finally continue that. I know I said I wasn't able to continue it due to, like, you know, hours and time differences and everything like that. But with me moving into my new place, there's some workarounds that I can do. And so therefore, it's officially coming back. And I'm very, very excited to continue that because I really enjoyed the first episode. And I'm interested to see what else we can do with ZombSquad After Hours. So that's announcement number one. And announcement number two is not next week's podcast, but I believe it's the week after. We will be doing the show on a Saturday. And I can't officially say the reason why until the week before. So, for the episode that is due to be the 4th of August, I believe, it will be the Saturday on that week. And the week beforehand, you will find out the reason why. A set of teasers will be released on my Twitter. And so I'm interested to see what you guys think of that. So there we go. Now we've gone through all of the announcements. Kyle, it is time for guest questions. Take it away, brother.
Here we go. So, okay, what I'll do is I'll direct the question to Joker, and then Galaxy, you can go next. So, most memorable zombie moment.
Ooh. I think for me, it would have to be completing the World at War campaign on launch and then unlocking zombies straight away afterwards, not knowing what it was, complete surprise. And it was something that I loved. Like, I was playing it constantly after that. And it was amusing because I had my friend who also didn't believe me because I kept saying to him, there's zombies at the end of the campaign, right? And he always just went, nah, it's not true. And then eventually, he finished it and he got to see it himself. And it was just great because then you got to play zombies with one another. It was so much fun. But it really got me into the mode, of course, because I loved it. And it was just a nice experience overall. But hey, it's the most memorable thing for me for zombies by far.
That sounds awesome. What about
I'm
you,
gonna
Galaxy?
have to agree with Joker here. I'm gonna have to agree with him here. I was very young at the time, but I remember my mom's ex was playing the game and he looks at his phone. He's like, "Oh, I gotta get ready for work." Hands me the controller, and I just finished the campaign. While he's standing there, we see the zombies load up. You see them like walking from the distance, and my mind was just blown away from it. I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, I remember his face standing there. He was just so confused, and he's like, "Give me the controller." He wants to play one more before work, and I just refused because instantly seeing the zombies run up was horrifying, yes, but I loved how it looked. It just drew me in.
Dude, the feeling of seeing that zombie run to you at the end of the campaign is probably a feeling that will stick to everyone who ever completed the Water War campaign and saw that for the very first time. That is something that will stick with them throughout time. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it will take something much, much more for it to top that kind of level. Because, well, that's a very different kind of feeling. But it's one of those really, really great feelings. Like, you can easily turn around and say, "Oh, I completed this Easter egg, like doing an Easter egg for the first time, or I hit level 1,000, or that." But the first feeling of seeing the zombie run towards you, and then boom, you spawn into Nocturne Totem. Oh, it's a feeling that gets you in all the right ways. So I love that. All right, come on, next question.
Next question. What keeps bringing you back to zombies, and how has it impacted you?
Ooh, what keeps me bringing back? I'd say the reason I keep coming back to zombies overall is for the new experiences, of course, because obviously, like, we've had tons of new maps now, and you get a completely new experience every time. Sure, you might not like it every time, but hey, it's a cool idea. It's really interesting to just keep seeing something different each time. But I think it's also the fact that every game of zombies I ever play, anyway, I always look for a different kind of challenge. Now, I know, like, Kyle, when we've been playing customs, I'll look for a different challenge in that, right? So it might be doing something like just playing with a pistol for the whole game, trying to do something in a specific room for the entire game, just playing with, like, certain perks. Whatever it is, always, that's just a lot of fun to me. And quite frankly, it's never ending. Like, yeah, I would say with, like, BO4, with the mutations, it just added to that. So yeah, I would say that is my main reason for playing zombies constantly. Plus, it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, for probably my reason, it would have to be just how the community works together to solve the small pieces of the story. Because I'm a story person myself, and I always love to jump into the next map, watching the trailers every time they released it, assuming what it was going to be, and half the time you were right, half the time you were just completely off the chart. It was just like a guessing game, and you always figured how the next map would be, how the story would play out, and it would just be a ball turn that you wouldn't expect. It's just how the community works together and puts all this, the Easter eggs, the lore, just everything, how we all solve it together. Just like, I remember everyone was stuck on Revelations, and you would just say something, and everyone's like, "No, that's not right," and you're like, "Yeah, that's correct." Like, someone got it, and no one believed it until they did it. So like someone like NoJ did it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's true," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's like what I like to do. I like to figure out what this was, and that's what brings me back, seeing people react differently on old stuff."
Wow, that's
Plus,
so
obviously,
nice. That
Yeah,
is
I like that
so
answer.
nice. I honestly, I think I was not expecting that answer.
Yeah, really. That's
Like,
kind of what got me into zombies. from BO3 coming in.
Honestly, the community will always be a staple. No matter what part of the
Mhm.
community you're from, or where you started in, like when you started Zombies, the community will always be a staple. Like you look at Jason's leaving letter. He could, if he did not thank the community, it would be very, very weird. And he honestly, he absolutely loved us. And truth be told, yes, the community can have its toxic times, but then again, so can every other community out there. We just happen to be that big of a community that it almost seems like back to back arguments.
Yeah. There's a
Wow.
lot of divisive things with zombies too. Can be
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
But honestly, the good stuff
Yeah.
always outweighs the bad stuff.
Yeah.
very much. Okay, so next question is favorite map. This ought to be very interesting.
Well, I mean, it's obvious at this point that Jack and Carl already know what it is, but Mob of the Dead, I mean, there's many reasons why it's Mob for me. It was the one map out of all the maps at that time for me that felt really different. Like, it completely felt like a completely new experience, especially with the fact that it also came after a map that had something like Who's Who. And if you look at Afterlife, to me anyway, it's basically a much better version of Who's Who. So Who's Who,
Exactly what I said.
yeah, there you
Yep.
go. So Who's Who was just like a trash. It's trash. Let's put it that way. Afterlife just kind of went all out, but it actually made use of everything that Who's Who did right. But then it just upped it basically. But also the story of Mob is very unique, and actually very interesting all round. Like, I don't know anyone that sits down and goes on Mob and goes, yeah, I'm not so keen on those characters, I'm not so keen on the story, and so on. You know, everyone likes them because they've got great personality. Each and every single one of those characters has got a very unique personality. No doubt about that. And they are one of the best crews in my view.
Oh,
But like mini
thank
quests
you
as
for
well.
saying that.
There you go. Mini quests as well on the map, like being able to get the golden sport, for example. That was something uniquely different and interesting to do. See, all the quests to me on that map are fun to do. You've got maps like Zetsubo, right, that make you do all these quests that are like, all right, I'll do it. But then you've got something like Mob that goes, okay, there's a purpose to doing this. There's a reason why we're getting this spork. There's a story to why we're getting the spork, you know? There's actually so much depth to Mob that I don't think enough people understand and appreciate sometimes. So overall, I'd have to say Mob, hands down. So yeah, Mob.
Mhm.
Oh, such a nice answer.
Yeah.
Love that.
Great one.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree here again. Mob is
Oh,
dead.
wow.
Best
Yo,
map, hands
we've
down.
got a mob crew. We've got
Wow.
a mob crew.
Yep.
I remember just like sitting there, like I'm like the next DLC's coming out, everyone's saying it, and I'm like I'm dropping down zombies if it's bad because I was done with Die Rise, and then just seeing the trailer when they said Alcatraz, I was instantly in because I had one family member who was there during the time of Alcatraz opening
Wow.
on my father's side.
Wow.
He was a prisoner, sadly, so he wasn't a good person.
Whoa.
So that's what drew me more into it because I was like, wow, I actually have something I like. 'Cause I learned about Alcatraz from family stuff, searching up family history. And I was hoping like they gotta get this right, like the atmosphere, how scary it was, because the prisoners were horrified there. And playing it, I was horrified a bit because I was like, this is basically how it would be. And just the characters themselves, you listen to their quotes, you know they don't want to do what they want to do. Like they have this deep meaning inside them, and it's just like you could relate. And just how the map plays, like it runs so smoothly. Like you run to this area, you're gonna get the part because you're gonna get the part that you want to use to get yourself ready for the next step. Because the next step is pack a punch, and that's what you want to survive. So you're gonna do it. You're gonna do what you want to do to survive. And that's basically why I like it. What you want to get to survive, it's going to help you progress. And you're like, wow, this is actually helping me. The golden spork, the pack-a-punch, the plane, the blundergat, the acid-gat, it all plays perfectly together to blend in that you want to do it. It's not like, oh, yeah, I'll do it just for the benefit. It's like you want to.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, yeah, I gotta go get the dragon so I can pack a punch or something like that. It's not like you have to, or shoot the Revelations worm in the heart. It's not like you have to do it.
Truth be told, if you were to go onto Mob, the only reason you would not build the plane to go over the Pack-a-Punch is because you are physically doing a no Golden Gate Bridge challenge. That would be the only reason. You can't. I find it physically impossible, and actually, Carl, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I find it physically impossible to go onto Mob and not build the plane. It's like they come hand in hand. They come hand in hand. And honestly, if you play Mob and you don't build the plane, you are practically not getting the full experience.
I don't think anyone would ever do that though, because like the other part of the map, and this is where Blood obviously went wrong, and it's the bridge, right? The bridge is a very unique place on that map. It is iconic. It's also like part of the story as well, right? You got everything that you want on that bridge possibly, and it's not even right next to the map, is it really? It's like further away.
Yeah, it's quite a way out.
Yeah, it's perfect. See, like if you don't go to that bridge, you're missing out in a big way, in my opinion. You really are.
Exactly. That's the same sentiment.
And also, especially if you're playing it as a first experience, like if you're playing with somebody who knows what they're doing, you could easily get the plane on your first instance, and you just think of all of the reactions to someone jumping on, and then it takes off, and then it crashes, and you'd be like, wait, where am I, dude? You're on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you're just like, yo, that's sick. Like, I love that. Oh, that gives me hype now. I love Mob. I mean, Shadows will still remain my number one, but I do love Mob.
Man, yeah, it's tough for me between those two.
Shadows is the best launch map. I'll say that.
Yes.
Yes, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You can't deny Shadows being like even Lex has said. Going through all the Trad launch maps, Shadows will forever be the number one. And it will. I think it will.
Yeah.
Just because it nailed. I mean, granted, yeah, people don't like the whole Apothecon style stuff, which is fair. But honestly, Shadows is just they nailed every single aspect of that map, from the music to the setting to the characters. It's just I will forever see Shadows as a masterpiece. I'm sorry if you disagree with me in chat, but I will forever see it as a masterpiece.
As we said before, Jack, like, it's not a zombies map, it's a work of art, really.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Definitely.
Honestly,
I can agree with your points though about Shadows, right? It is like by far the best launch map, easily. Personally, myself, I'm not a big fan of Shadows. Like, I appreciate everything it does. I appreciate its story and things. I just don't like to play it much. Mainly because of what you were saying, like the constant having to go into the Apothecon mode to do things and so on. Also, I find that there's far too much squid on that map. Just a bit too much for my liking. But that's just my view on it. But I still think it is by far the best launch map. There's no question of that.
Yeah, like, but you were saying like the whole going into squid thing to do stuff. Isn't that basically the same as going into Afterlife to do stuff?
It is, and I would agree with that.
It's literally the same mechanic.
It is the same mechanic. I agree with that. I think it's more the fact that you're a squid that gets me. It just doesn't feel believable.
Just a big tentacle.
It doesn't feel believable. That's my problem with it. I just see with Afterlife it made sense because the mobsters are already dead. When they electrocute themselves, they're just going into their ghost forms again. Whereas with Shadows, why are these characters turning into squids?
Well, what else about zombies is believable? Like, fucking about going through space and time, you know, fucking some sort of mythical creatures and out in space, fucking shooting 115 rocks into time gaps, like it's whole fucking mess.
It is, yeah. It's just for me, I wasn't a big fan of turning into a squid. Sorry, it's just my way.
Yeah.
That's
very much like
fair. That's completely fair.
I mean, after a while, you become really numb to it.
Yeah.
Like you do. It is something that you kind of you get used to, especially when you play Shadows so damn much. You do get used to just Like, honestly, I'm so used to, as soon as you spawn in, you wait for that potion to light up, you go into Beast, and you literally can do the whole of the junction with one squid mode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
there is a way. I've actually forgotten it, but there is a way you can do the whole of the waterfront in one squid. I have done it before, about 3 times, I think, but not a lot of people.
I've done it before. I've done it before where you can do a whole of junction and you can do partially of canals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I'm actually talking about the waterfront section, but yeah, no, I completely agree with you, there, Spike. I'm pretty sure you can do the whole of junction, jump over to canals and hit the box and the rift door, and then your beast mode will just cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, you can find so many routes to basically to optimize each beast mode you have.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It completely comes under optimization, like how you can do all these things and how you can really optimize using one squid to do as much as you can. And that's probably I would say speedrunning is definitely what got people into it, to really properly look into that.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, next question.
Now this question will be really interesting because it'll give us some like backstory to you. But where does your gamer tag come from?
Oh yes, the famous gamer tag. You've been desperate to know this, Kyle. That's the funny part.
Oh, have you?
He's been asking.
He finally gets the answer.
Well, yeah, it's like we're on my stream, and I was like, we can't really reveal too much. We don't want to give everything away, so I was like, damn it, I keep asking stuff I can't answer.
He was always trying to find a way to figure it out somehow.
Love that.
Yeah. So now I get it.
Now you get it, yeah. So, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, I like to joke around quite a lot in general in life. It's just how I roll. So that's partly where the name came from. At the time, there's a full backstory to it. Back on the PS2, actually, it was like we were sitting there, me and my friend, and he was like, "We really need to just give you an actual name rather than all these really stupid names that we come up with for like all these save games and that." So it's awful, and it feels terrible to have to even look at it like this. But we had one of the Batman films sitting on my table in my room. Like the original Batman with the Joker in that, and oh man, so he was just like, "I've got it. You're funny, you know, like all these stupid jokes and things you do. Why don't we just call you JokerAlex?" I was like, "Yeah, what? I've been sitting here for days trying to think of a name. That's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
Screw it. I'll roll with it." I honestly thought I would change it after like it's been about probably 15 years or something now, but I've never changed it. I've just stuck with it, and it works. So there you go, Kyle. You finally got your answer.
And that's why I wore
And
the
he's
shirt.
wearing a
That's
Joker
why
shirt.
it's wore
That's
the
even better.
t-shirt. Like, I have to say, your profile pic, Alex, the font style in which you've got the J and the A reminds me so much of Joker. I don't know what it is
That
about
was
it.
the idea.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It just reminds me so much of Joker, and so I think you absolutely nailed that, 100%.
Yeah.
Question
what
is,
I
could
was
you do
gonna-
a Joker impression?
Yeah. Do
I
it.
haven't quite tried it yet. Maybe at some point. We'll see.
You want to know how I got these scars? Like just like that.
Wow, that
Ooh,
was
okay,
actually
that was
pretty
very
good.
Pretty good.
That was
Very
really
good.
good.
I love that.
Respect that, man.
Well, so how I got mine was, I've been like bouncing through names, but every time, like Mister wasn't part of it. It was always Galaxy, and I just liked space. Like space was just something I liked. Probably why I kind of like zombies, because there's like all like zombies later. Because there's all just like, well, we can go to the moon and all that.
Yep.
And I always like just like, I don't know, Galaxy just sounds weird. It needs something in the beginning. And I know like this one friend I had, every time I did something just so dumb, like I was just always trying to make her laugh. She would just say, "You're an idiot, Mister." Like always says it's like, "You better cut it off, Mister, because I don't want you to get hurt." And I'm like, you know what? That works perfectly. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Mister Galaxy." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't tell you. Like, I have all this." And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "Wait, I'm like, yeah. She's like, so Mister Galaxy. I'm like, yeah, doesn't that sound good? She's like, I swear there's a name that. I'm like, I don't think there is. I think she's like, well, I remember watching the TV show with my little cousin. I'm like, I think I know what you're talking about, but I think she was talking about Steven Universe. I don't know, because she babysits her cousin a lot. And I'm like, well, Mister Galaxy just sounds good because it sounds like professional, but with the Galaxy part, I like that. She's like, how would you spell Mister? I'm like, just Mister, like MR period. I'm like, actually gonna spell Mister.
Mhm.
Well, that's basically how I got it.
Yeah, I have to ask, how long have you been into like space and astrology and all that sort of stuff?
I would have to say when I was like 12.
Wow, long time.
Right now I'm 18, so long time, yeah.
Yeah, so quite a few years. I mean, to be truth be told, I think space stuff is always something that will relax me. I'm ever stressed. Like I've had many wallpapers of just like Milky Ways and galaxies, and not the chocolate bars, the actual up there. Like, just to clarify for all those people out there watching you, but I've had so many of those like plastered on my PC as the backgrounds, and I just look at it and I think I just feel so relaxed. Like there's nothing that can stress me out. It's I suppose it's kind of like how we would say shadows is a work of art. I look at pieces of like that and drawings especially, and I think, wow, they are work of art, and it's something I could probably.
It's also therapeutic too.
Oh yes, definitely. Especially the animated ones, like you see, like I don't know, a vortex of some
Oh
kind.
yeah.
Like yeah, that's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
I believe we got one more question, Carl. Is that right?
Yes.
Now,
the last one is
Before you ask it, I gotta say,
Mhm.
every time we've had this question, like since we've had this question, every guest has given us a completely different answer, and I absolutely love it. And so I'm interested to see what you two come up with.
So, favorite childhood game?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I have so many.
Yeah, say that's me.
Okay, most people probably won't even know what it is in here, but Time Splitters. If you know the game, then there you go. Kyle knows it. That's
Never
what I
heard of
know.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds-
joking.
Listen out.
I recognize the name.
Yes, I remember playing that with my friend back in the day.
That was so much fun. So yeah, Time Splitters by far. The cool thing about Time Splitters though, like back in the day especially, because this game came out back in like 2000, 2002, etc.
Yes.
So it's a while ago. And like the best thing about it was because it was made by like all sorts of stupid, like funny ideas, basically all crammed together. It was a combination of pretty much every stupid part of a horror film, every stupid part of a horror game, all the serious stuff as well. Jam it into one giant package and just completely take the piss. That's literally like the whole thing in a nutshell. It's absolutely perfect. If you want a shooter that just doesn't take itself seriously before like all these other shooters that have come out recently that try to joke about, that is the game series you go for because it's hilarious. I've never seen zombies in a game look so stupid and actually kind of terrifying at the same time. It's great.
Wow.
It's honestly great. Like one level I will point out here, the Mansion of Madness it's called from Time Splitters Future Perfect. So if you've ever seen Resident Evil 1, like the mansion hallway part, like as soon as you walk into the mansion at the beginning of the game, you've got this whole staircase and everything. They basically put that straight up that bit into that level, but completely took the piss with it. And it was great. You had a moose that came to life out of the wall. You had worms that came out of the ground and started eating these scientists. You had scientists like kicking their feet in circles at zombies. Honestly, it's just a hilarious game series. I will never say that that's not going to be my favorite childhood game by far.
Wow.
Although there are others that I love.
I love how there's games out there that I don't even know existed.
You should play it. Go and play it.
Times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to sound so basic, but it's my second video game, which was Pokemon, and that's what got me really more into video games. I was thinking it was going to be Spyro, but like, I don't know. Like, Spyro was my first video game ever, but I think Pokemon was the one that took me by the cake because I still have all my cards. I remember how addicted I was to it. It's got to be that. It's simple and basic, but simple. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Which one was your first one you started on Galaxy? Because I started back in the OG days, like red, blue, yellow.
I don't remember the game, but I know I started in Gen 4.
Okay. Nice.
I can't remember the game titles. I just remember the generations.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Truth be told, I wish I knew more about Pokemon. If I'm being honest.
I love
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I have this one Charizard card that I got for like $2, like in 2009. Now it sells for way more. I'm like, all right. It's
Dude,
level X.
that OG like Charizard card back in 97, 98, back in like elementary school was so rare. And it's like one guy, they just recently said he had like a lot of them and sold them for some crazy amount. It's just nuts.
It's ridiculous
so rare.
how they sell it.
Yeah, they're. Oof.
I have
Make a
to
lot
ask,
of money.
Galaxy, have you seen the Detective Pikachu movie?
Yeah, I watched it in the Discord server actually.
Oh, did-
Nice.
What did you think of it?
I liked it. It was pretty good. Mostly because I like Ryan Reynolds as an actor, so I think that's what got me.
I still need to see it.
I honestly, Detective Pikachu. I've never been a massive Pokemon fan. Like not in the negative sense. It's something that I've never been able to get into. But I saw the trailer for that and I was like, oh, you know what? This actually looks really fun. And I have to say they did a really good job with the Pokemon models. Like, and how, like, especially Pikachu himself, how they made him all like furry and the CGI I think looked so good on a lot of the Pokemons. And I looked at Pikachu and I was just like, oh, it's so adorable. I want one. I want one just sitting there on my bed. So cute.
Yeah, Pokemon translated way better than Dragon Ball Z. Why did they ever thought to do that? Was so terrible.
Who knows, dude?
Pokemon definitely they made it much more like believable, whereas Dragon Ball Z it was just a total pile of shit.
It was a bit like that Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Wait,
my god.
Which one?
It's just-
Annihilation?
It's
'Cause
just not.
I didn't mind the first one,
No,
but
which one was it? It probably was
Anni-
the first one.
the second one sucked, which was
It might have been
Annihilation.
the second one. I'm not even sure at this point. I just
I
know
like
it's
You
bad.
said that so straight up.
yeah.
You said that
I
so
like the
straight up,
first
Carl. You were just like, the second one sucks.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely sucks.
Dude,
Dude.
video games should not be translated into movies. That is
Jack.
a horrible fucking idea.
But it's
Just
not.
get
No.
Watch Annihilation, the second one, and get to the end when the main bad guy turns into a dragon. And they both turn into dragons.
That's
Blue
the
King.
one.
It's so
That's
bad.
the one. It's terrible.
Oh, it's so dated. And that was
No.
made back. That was back in like 98, 99, somewhere in there. It was ugh.
Terrible.
Have
film.
you seen the Doom? Have you guys seen the Doom movies?
Oh
No.
god.
No.
They're
Okay,
fucking
I know.
horrible.
Ugh.
The new Doom is just terrible. The original is just hilarious.
I have
I
to
need
say,
to see
I have to
both,
say,
just
right,
for the-
video games made into a film adaptation. They've had a very, very bad streak. And I can completely see where you guys are coming from, because I've seen a few of those movies and I've been extreme, like especially the Mario movie. I thought was fucking god awful. Like that is a movie that should have not been made. But I seriously think that the bad streak that they went on, I seriously think it actually stopped with Detective Pikachu, like, because that actually did really well. And then the Sonic movie came out. You know what? I thought I really enjoyed that film. I thought that was a really fun
decent.
film. I'm so glad they redesigned Sonic, but it completely smashed box office expectations. And you know you're on a good street then, because
The
as soon as that second trailer came out, boy oh boy, people were just
I
like, yeah,
think-
I'm watching that.
I think video game movies can absolutely work. It's just it needs to be made by people that have played those games for like a good amount of their lives, because like they would know like how to make it good.
I can
Yes.
agree with that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. The
Yeah.
one
Have
film that did
experience.
do quite well, actually, that was a video game adaptation, was the first Silent Hill film. I actually think that was a really decent film, to be
I haven't
honest.
seen that one.
I haven't
That's
seen it.
very good. Very
Yeah.
good. The second one's terrible, but the first one is great. The guy knew what he was doing, quite frankly, and I was pleased with it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than Res films. I mean, God.
Have you seen they're making a Last of Us TV series?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Just
I don't know.
sorry?
I'm really not too fond of it, especially after what the fuck we saw in The Last of Us 2.
Hmm. Really interesting to see what happens with it.
Yeah. Personally, I wasn't like. I'm not gonna say much, but like after what happens in like the theater and like when you start to take control of Abby from like you have to start back to day one again. It's just a fucking snore fest there.
It's as you said this, like they video game movies do have the potential to work, and they
Yeah,
really
they
do.
absolutely do.
And I think
They
but
absolutely do.
I seriously think they have a better chance of working now than what they did back then. Because you look at how
Yeah.
far film and like CGI technology, how far it's come. Like you look at Endgame, for instance. Like I'd say a good solid 90% of I'd say maybe 80% of that film was CGI, and you look at how amazing that looked. Honestly, video game, or is even something as simple as a live action Sonic film, it can work. They just need the right script, they need the right director, they need the right cast, and they need a story that's going to have ties to what the game was trying to do, but also bringing new elements.
Yeah.
Like, because no one wants a straight copy, like from start to finish of the game story and the movie story. We want different things, and so that's the way I see it, basically.
Hmm. Yeah,
One
you guys
thing
remember
I-
this? You guys remember the 115 movie? That was great.
One thing I can add to is how the video game industry is now compared to back then. It could work. The video game industry is bigger than it was way before.
Yeah.
Just could work now because just comparing it now and then back then, I can argue my say that today it's way better than it was back then. Especially how they now communicate with their fan base, telling them about the updates and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely the right move on their part. And also, people need to realize when they've made mistakes. Like
Yes.
if they release something, it's broken or it's just pure and utter crap because they completely went the wrong direction. If you can own up to that, or even before take Sonic for instance, before the movie released, they knew they fucked up the design, so they're just like, right, we understand, we got it wrong, we're gonna pull the movie back, redesign him, and then you guys will get a fresh new Sonic for when the movie releases, and that's how it should have done. So,
Yeah.
And that's exactly how you should take feedback.
Yes. Yeah, you shouldn't sulk about it like a little kid. Like you shouldn't leave every single social media. You shouldn't just completely scrap your project and go and cry in a corner for the rest of your time. Nah, you take it like a man and you own up to it. You're just like, right,
Absolutely.
we understand we made a mistake. We're gonna make it up to you. That's how every single thing should go. If you can't own up to it, I say bye-bye. We don't want to hear from you ever again. But there we go. Anyways, now let's get into, before we actually get into the main topics real quick. I wanted to say, where was it? It was in Discord. I want to talk about this real quick because it is actually a really good question. And I want to get Alex and Galaxy's thoughts on it. So a really good friend of mine, Callum, he asked in the chat, what do you people think of the current state of zombies? And so we're actually going to start with we're gonna start with Galaxy on this one. So Galaxy, what's your response to that question?
The current state, I kind of like pushed zombies away a couple months back, but recently just Tim Hansen and like Mr. T-Lexify videos just been popping up my recommendations. So I think it's starting to make just a comeback now. Could it just be because everyone's wondering where the next Call of Duty is?
Yeah.
Yes. Mostly that's what I'm thinking it is. Like everyone's wondering where it is, and now there's the leaks coming out, which is expected to come out at this point, honestly. I think it's just making a comeback because of where's COD 2020, and this is finally like the first Call of Duty in 4 years we haven't had a zombies in, because the past 4 years we had Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War II. Yeah, 3 years. We had zombies for straight 3 years, and now we finally have a break from it. So I think that's what everyone's like happy about.
4 years, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, because of Exo.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Exo Zombies.
So you had X.
Forgot
so you
that
had, well, no, that's 5 then. So Exo, BO3, Infinite Warfare,
Exo, BO3.
World War II, BO4. That's 5 years.
Yeah, that's 5 years.
5 years back to back on zombies. And one of the community was burnt out.
Yeah, no fucking wonder.
And all I can say right there, really quick, World War II zombies is underrated. I'm gonna say that.
But why do you say that though? I'm not gonna be like you're wrong. Spike will understand that reference. Like I'm not gonna say that. I wanna know why. Like why do you think it's underrated?
They tried their best to make it scary. They tried their best to get that feeling that we had back when World at War came out and you finished the campaign. When you finished that campaign, everyone I remember saying that played Knocked Out Their Totem on Totem at that time said they were so scared of the zombies, and that's what they tried to go for. For me, I don't feel like they accomplished it fully. I feel like they accomplished it by giving the zombies their looks scary, not the atmosphere, just how they look, the zombies themselves. Because I still play it, I'm like, gosh, these zombies just look so creepy and just ugly, like horrifying. And then like the blood altars, how the story plays into this creepy thing. It's just, to me, it works. But again, I like horror, so
Yeah.
I feel like it's underrated and it should be shined upon more the community. Are the maps bad? Yeah, some of the maps are just like could have done better. But the one thing I think they've done the best was DLC 3 with those 3 maps you play on for like 11 waves and move on to the next. That is the best thing I've ever seen from a community.
Okay. I have to admit, like the trailer for the trailer for the Final Reich. Wow, even I was a bit terrified. I'd be like, wow, okay, they are actually going proper dark and gritty with this. And then honestly, I think the Final Reich is a really decent map. I really like that. I like the elements of the Final Reich. The notebook is one of the best things to have ever been invented. The layout of the Final Reich is really nice. It's a nice mixture of user friendly and a little bit complicated as well. So it's not easy and it's not hard. It's really nice in the center. And I really like Groston House as well. I think that is a very fun, nice little survival map. Takes you back to the old days of World of War, like where you have those small, more compact maps. I mean, granted, yeah, this might be one of the smallest maps ever to exist, but it's still nice and fun. And I think Groston House in itself is better than probably a good majority of the DLCs. But that's just honestly, guys. Again, everything expressed here is completely my opinion. Like everything is my opinion only. I'm never swayed by other users or anything like that. I'll take their comments and analyze them and see what I think of it. I won't straight up be like, oh, what are they called? Like when you it's like I think, is it a sheep? When you follow the leader, basically. I can't think of the terminology.
Oh fuck! I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm never gonna be one of those guys. I'd rather have I'd rather be myself with my own opinions, just out there. People don't like them, they don't like them. If people like them, then they like them. That's how I've always gone, and that's how I always will go. So, but anyway, Alex, what about you, man?
See, the zombies community is in a mixed state, in my opinion. I would say that you could say the zombies community's got its positive side and it's got its negative side. I'd still say that the negative side is actually quite big after BO4.
Yep.
Like, for me, I generally see at least once a week on a zombies video of mine some negative moron out there that will be present. Always, every week, there's one. There's always one. Sometimes there's more. And it's unfortunate because really, it never was like that. See, I've been around with zombies since back at World at War. And, like, if you look at how the community's developed over those years, it was really quite positive until, like, there was a part of BO2 where it got a bit iffy. But everyone was still sticking together during BO2 at that point, even though we had some terrible problems in BO2, like map-wise. Everyone was still together. Everyone was still quite, like, everyone was basically trying to be positive about the mode, despite the issues. And then BO3, of course, it went through the roof. Everyone was excited. Everyone was happy. You then come on to, like, after BO3, and it's just kind of a train wreck in my view. Like, you still, of course, got your positive people. Like, I like to be positive about zombies. I know you guys do as well. But it just kept going further and further and further downhill. And all you could ever see was just constant negativity. I mean, like, for example, here's a great example. Look at World War II. As soon as DLC 3 was even announced, they didn't even show the maps or anything. Everyone went, "Oh, this game's shit. Who gives a shit? Oh, screw it. We don't want DLC 3. Just give us Treyarch. Piss off." And then guess what? You get given Treyarch, and then, "Oh, this game's shit. Oh," you know, it's just an instant playback. And, well, I hate to say it, but the negativity of BO4 severely, and I mean severely, overweighed the positivity of BO4. And that's a serious, serious, sad point. Because BO4, in my opinion, while it did it, you know, it had its mistakes, it had its problems. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, there's some real good positives to BO4. And
Absolutely.
because, you know, because the community was so bloody negative, all you see is just all of that greatness that's in BO4 completely wasted. I mean, thank Christ that some of the custom map makers are putting some of those core great elements from BO4 into their maps. Because if they weren't doing that, I don't think people would even know about half of this stuff. Like, it's just sad. But overall, I would say that the community, I'm glad there's still positivity in it. I really am. I'm glad that there are some really amazing people out there that really try so hard to keep zombies alive. Now, technically, to me, it's not dead. I don't think zombies will ever really die. I know people go, "Oh, it's dead, it's gone." I mean, not really. It's still alive. People play it loads. People love it. People enjoy it. All I have to say to you, really, if you're a negative person about it, is don't play it. It's very simple. Stop playing it. If you really hate it, why are you still playing it? If you really hate it and you're watching people play it, don't watch them. Go do something else. Stop basically sitting down and being so stupidly negative about it because you've got nothing better to do with your life.
Yep.
Do something better with your life. Be more constructive.
Exactly.
I will admit that if we had constructive negative feedback in BO4, when I say constructive, I mean like useful feedback. So, like, you know, the shield's broken, Treyarch. We could deal with this if we just did this sort of thing to make, I don't know, the melee weapon on the 9 shield a bit better or something, right? That's negative, but it's constructive. It's helpful.
It's constructive
But we didn't get
criticism.
that. Yeah, we didn't get that, though. That's the point. We just got this constant, nah, the shield's shit. It's like, that's not helpful. So I don't blame Treyarch for going dark, actually, in BO4. I don't blame them for just turning off the lights and going, yeah, there's no point in listening to the community because all we get is just constant, like, death threats and hate. You can't blame them. I mean, I would feel pretty terrible if I got that every 5 seconds. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel for them, to be honest. Even though I know BO4 is considered a train wreck, they tried really hard with that in the end, to be honest. And I think they did a good job in the end. Yeah, it's not perfect, but they did a good job. And actually, I want to quickly touch on your point about World War II. What you were saying earlier about it being underrated. I have to agree on that point. It is underrated. What I will say is that for me, the first two maps, so the Final Reich and Grossenhaus, those are really well designed. And the
Yes.
core point of what they did so perfectly here, Sledgehammer, is they had a map that's catered to the old players, the people that just want a survival map to just play in. And then you got a map that's catered to the more modern day zombie players, right? Who want to go and do a full on Easter egg, they want to go and build things, they want to go do all sorts of exploring on a big map. That was perfect. They did that great. And also, they had perfect atmosphere for all those maps. Unfortunately, I think Sledgehammer later on with the DLC season just kind of ignored what they were doing so perfectly at the beginning. To me, anyway, it seemed like they just went, okay, let's just go down the route of making a map that's got a quest on it. Once they complete the quest, that's cool, map's dealt with. That's what it felt like to me, because as soon as a quest was complete on World War II DLCs, the map was pretty much forgotten. And that was a real
They did
shame.
have a head studio change midway through their game.
Yeah, I was just about
that
to
is
say.
true.
I think the
Yeah.
with Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield both leaving mid-season
Mhm.
Yep.
affected the
Mm.
game really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. And
a
actually,
lot of people would say that that multiplayer got much better midway through because of like the whole overhaul that they had.
Yeah,
But obviously, Zombies took a big hit from it though.
yeah, it did. I think the other thing as well is you could see that the story just kind of had this weird change in the middle. Like you got to the Shadowed Throne where you picked up the sword, right? And then you go to DLC 3 and all of a sudden you're rebuilding the sword? Why? You've just picked it up. Why are we rebuilding it? It just didn't make any sense.
It broke in postage.
Oh yeah, totally. So yeah, it's just I think there was a communication error at points during that DLC season, which is a shame. But personally, I will admit that not many people agree with this. That's fine. The final map in World War II, other than of course the launch map, which was great, the final map was perfect to me. I love that map. I think it's
Frozen
a
Dawn?
great final.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Final Dawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was a great map. I thought it was a perfect way to send off World War II zombies, and they did a great job with it. So, quite frankly, I think they did a great job at the end.
if I'm being truthfully honest, I never played the Frozen Dawn. I think, and it's mainly because I played quite a few of the Torture Path, and my experiences with that map with the smaller little survival challenge maps. My experience with them was never good, and at that point, I was kind of like a lot of people at the end of Die Rise. I was about ready to leave Zombies, because it was so negative to me, and it was really putting me in an off mood. But I kind of wish that I had given the Frozen Dawn at least a chance, like at least given it maybe one or two games just to see how I mean, who knows? I might play the map and I might actually really like it. I might find it to be kind of on the same level as the Final Reich, but I won't know because I've never played the map. So
You should play it. You should.
I think maybe I will.
I know
go.
that like those like special like those wonder weapons like the something Raven what like it's just like the yeah like the shield, the hammer, that stuff.
Hmm.
I've seen in like world record videos, like you know how like Steve and Scotty they would like go for like a bunch of like high round shit on every map possible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I would watch their videos on the Frozen Dawn, and like they're literally sitting in random corners around the map just pressing the same two buttons. So like obviously the wonder weapons have a balancing issue, but like they're still pretty badass though.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do wish.
They're
And also
unique.
it looks like a really gorgeous map too.
It does,
Yeah,
yes. It really does.
Yeah.
It's
Nailed
impressive looking. Probably the most impressive looking of World War II to me, actually, by far.
I think in a way they really wanted to save on resources when it came to the map prior, but then go all out on the Frozen Dawn.
Which I
Okay,
think,
fair.
which to be honest, I don't think that's half a bad idea. I reckon saving your resources for one big final blowout could actually work really well, and I kind of wish they did that with BO4. I mean, I love Targ to bits. I think Targ is my number 3 map now. I love the way the Targ plays. I love the gameplay. The Easter egg is really fun. The ending cutscene, while I appreciate what it did, I figured if they actually went all in and gave us a proper CGI cutscene with like proper animations, it would hit people so damn harder.
I don't think that was I don't think that was a resource issue. I just feel like that was
No, it was
budget issue.
Well, yeah, but a budget is a resource. You need budget to make all this stuff.
Yeah, true.
Like, so budget is, I mean, granted, yeah, it's one of many resources, but it's still a major resource, because without the budget and without the money, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there twiddling your thumbs and be like, well, what are we going to do now? He's going to be like that.
Yeah.
But until these guys come over and be like, right, you've got this to do. And like, yes, work, finally. That's what they'll be like. So.
I mean, to be honest, worst case scenario for the Tog ending, it could have just been a sock puppet ending.
Oh.
It could have just been sock puppets.
Oh. That may have cursed me. God, just imagine Targ as a sock puppet ending. Oh.
It could have been similar to Origins, except a lot.
Oh my god.
You know, meaning like this time, no, it's not just. No, it really is. It's all been sock puppets.
But no. What I'm saying is it's a few Treyarch employees like behind a desk that covers them. They just have sock puppets, and it's in 360p quality.
And now that
that is worst case scenario.
Yikes!
I say we got second best scenario. So
Just 2 people doing sock puppets to get a job at Treyarch over the whole story they could bring in.
Imagine
every BO4 ending is there's no CGI, there's no animation, it's just sock puppets. You know, like how in the olden days they'd have like the sock puppets as the entertainment for the kids. God, imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
Dead
my
of the
god.
Night would have
literally
been
that.
interesting.
Exactly.
The
Yeah,
Dead of
Dead
the
of
Night getting a head chopped off would have been very different.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just got the puppet there, his head just goes. That's the head chopper. You just hear the rip. Oh, that would have been so bad. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't go down that path. But thank you
Don't
for
give
cursing me with
Treyarch
that, Spike.
ideas.
Cheers, bud.
Exactly.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Now, I'll be honest, I've given Black Ops 4 a lot of shit in the past, and recently I went back and played it. I underestimated the game I just completely threw it away. Now, all I can say is I think the best maps to me for the Easter side is Tagter Toten or Alpha Omega. Like, that's probably the only ones I'll play.
Mm.
I'm so glad
Any
you
attempts
said
going for
Tark.
150? Any attempts going for 150 and classified and the game crashing, I'm done with that map.
Yeah, I'd rather not, Chief, if I'm being true. If I'm playing Classified, I'm just playing it as like a casual, have fun game with friends. Like, that's all I'd see Classified as. I mean, I've always said this about Alpha Omega. The bosses annoy the shit out of me. I hate the Joey and Jackson. I hate the Nova 6 bombers. If they weren't in the map, I seriously think I would love Alpha Omega a lot more.
But you could do that with mutations.
Yeah, but then in a way that's kind of like cheating the game. It's like especially if I'm doing like a high round run, I'm not doing it through mutations. I'd rather play the game as it's meant to be played, basically. Mutations are fun. I will admit that they're fun, nice little trinkets, and they finally give us a way to change up how we play. But if I'm playing a game, whether it's, I mean, granted, Easter egg you can only do on normal anyway, or hard. But if I'm playing a game, I'd rather play it normally. Matt, there you go. Anyways, time to actually get into the proper topics. So, Alex and Galaxy, I've been meaning to, I've been wanting to, get your proper insights into the, Alex, I've got a little idea for yours, but, I want to get, a full-on kind of explanation type thing. And it's about the content you guys are doing at the moment. So, it's whether you are making videos, whether you're, doing, daily streams or stuff like that. I want to kind of know your thought process behind kind of how you come up with all these different ideas, and what you find the best way is to kind of execute them to the how you want them, basically. And we'll start with Alex on this one.
All right. Well, I guess variations of things overall, really. So I won't show it, but I have a piece of paper at the moment for zombies, which I've got all these different ideas, a series that I want to do on. What I tend to do is I'll usually go down and try some of those series, see if I think that they'll work, see if I think that they'll be good enough. Some of them get completely scrapped and gone. Some of them I will try and put them up, see if people enjoy them. If they enjoy them, I'll keep them. If not, then again, I'll get rid of them.
Yep.
Now, in the case of certain ones, they tend to pick up very well, actually. So obviously, Jack, Kyle, you know about it, the All Easter Egg and Secret series. Now, that always had a purpose to it. It was a purpose that I thought of a long time ago, which was to try and get a video of every single Easter egg and secret within a map, put it into one giant video, so that everyone that wants to find a video that basically just has everything in one place, rather than searching all over the place for stuff, you've got it. And people love those, people actually really enjoy that sort of thing, and they have done well, quite frankly.
Fantastic.
And overall, they're a lot of work to make. They take ages to make. Blood of the Dead took 2 months, but overall, they are actually interesting for me to make. They give me a better idea of the maps overall. I know practically half of these freaking radio quotes now off the top of my head, so that's not a good thing in some ways, but oh well.
Well, you never know. It might help you out with Zombies Jeopardy. Who knows?
No, don't even start. I know where you're going with that. So yeah.
I said this to Zoe yesterday. My Jeopardy is so much better than that other one we tried. It's much more.
God.
It's a lot more. I want to say it's a lot more user friendly, but at the same time, there are hard questions in there, and they're gonna be. Otherwise, it completely defeats the object.
Well, yeah, of course. That makes perfect sense. I mean, that one that we did the other day, though, that was just taking it a bit too far. Even I don't go that
That's
far.
awful.
That was horrendous. That made me just feel like I knew nothing about zombies afterwards, which was not a good thing, really. But yeah,
I think people
could have made me
give up on life after that.
Yeah, but literally, it was like listening to Zombie Who's sound quiz thing earlier, where he got a question wrong and went, "I'm about ready to jump out a window." So yeah,
Jesus.
It gets to that stage, right, where sometimes it can get too extreme. That quiz was too extreme. Never ever do anything that extreme in your life. God. But anyway, yeah. So you've told everyone about that now. I thought we were keeping that a secret.
What, Zombie Jeopardy?
No. Well, the one that we scrapped, if you like.
Well, they're not. I mean, it's not like they're gonna. I deleted. Well, actually, no. Fun fact. The video I was recording was in a completely different format. It was in a FLV format rather than an MP4, and so it's something that I can't access unless I have a third-party software. And so I'm kind of glad that was the case, because then, well, imagine how that would have gone. I would have gone to upload the video. It's just like fucking shit. It's a completely different one.
Well, I think in a nutshell for that one, yeah, that was torture. Anyway, we'll forget about that. Yeah, so the All Easter Egg series and that has done very well. And the cool thing is now I've started getting actual guests involved with it as well. Because obviously the series is meant for the community. It's meant for the zombies community overall. Sure, there are people that always comment and go like, why do you do this? Like, I hate you, but you're going to get them anyway. But the point is, it's for the community. People like those sort of things. So to actually get people involved with those videos as well is perfect. And Kyle was even offered a chance to get involved with it at one point.
Oh, really?
He couldn't make it, but he was offered. But we have, like, I've had quite a few different people on that show. I've had DK Dynamite, I've had Sky, I've had Clarky,
Whoa.
Caleb. I've had all sorts of different people get involved with that series, and I'm still reaching out to other people for it. It's great to have them involved, really. It really is.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that for future videos with that. And then of course there's like the sound quiz, which I guess Jack has said a fair bit about. I don't actually know what you've said about it yet.
About what?
The sound quiz that I put you through.
If I'm being truthful, the only thing I've said about that is that I got the 2 hardest ones right. That's all I've said. I haven't given any details or anything because that is your series to properly promote. I'm very honored that I was able to take part in it, and I'm very excited for people to see the video. But in terms of details, I'm not saying a single thing because it's your video at the end of the day.
Yeah, obviously it's a new series that I'm going for at the moment. I've got 2 done, which is with Zombie Who and obviously Jack, who was involved with it. The Zombie Who episode should be out pretty damn soon. I'm hoping to get it out in at least 2 to 3 days.
Nice.
So once that's out, I know Jack wanted to do something with the Zombie Who video. I'm sure he'll reveal that when he wants to, maybe even right now. I don't know.
Yes,
I
will
reveal
actually.
Go on.
So, guys, I will be doing a reaction video to Zombie Who taking the sound quiz, because I'm in an R in about whether to do it as a video or as a stream. Because I think as a stream, getting you guys involved and trying to guess the sounds as well, I think would actually be like really fun. And so then maybe I could do that as a stream. Then it's there as a VOD. But I'm still deciding. I'll update you guys on that anyway.
I've got a question for you, actually, Jack. How hard would you have rated that sound quiz out of 10? Go on.
Ooh, good question.
Good feedback for me.
Honestly, I give it. We're saying out of 10. I'd say I'd give it a solid 7. I'd say I'd give it a solid 7. Like there were some that I didn't get, but that was from my own stupidity. But there were some in there that were like, again, I'm not gonna say, but you know which one.
Tough.
There was one in there that I've really, really struggled with. So, yeah, like.
It's interesting to hear that. Anyway, in a nutshell, yes, it's a zombie sound quiz. I'm not going to give too many details on it just yet, as it's not out yet, but you'll see it soon. You'll see Jack's as well soon. And let's just say it's a very tough sound quiz. It's like a mixture of me being semi-nice and me being pretty much a complete arse. But yeah. Anyway, Jack's had his torture with that for a little while.
And this Saturday, I get my revenge.
Yeah.
Good.
So that worked out very well.
I mean, technically, you already had it last Saturday, but
we're not going to count, as you said, we're not going to count that. We're not even going to talk about that.
But yeah, I think advice-wise, I was talking about this on Kyle's stream actually. Advice for like how to do at least videos anyway, in my view. I don't know so much about streaming because I don't really do that sort of thing. That's for whoever's doing that. But video-wise, I've been doing YouTube videos now and YouTube in general for 9 years, so it's been a very long time. But the thing that I always made a mistake with was to never really plan out any of my videos effectively. I just went diving straight in, full on force, going and doing, yeah, I'll do this will be fine. And to be honest, it didn't work out perfectly. Granted, it did okay. But what I do now, of course, is I actually plan out things. I take a lot of time to plan things out. I take a lot of time to edit the things to the right sort of size, to the right lengths, to get perfect audio, all sorts of things. And I think the big advice here is if you're going to do video editing things, take your time. Don't rush it. Don't do what I did. Don't dive in straight away head first. Don't think you can just rush straight through it all, because you won't. Also, get to learn your software. That's another thing that I didn't do very well at. I didn't learn the software that well at all. but really learning it, really knowing how to use it all, really helps a lot. It really does, honestly. It will make a world of difference, and also it will help speed up the process for future videos. Just like that. So yeah,
Sound advice.
I have to really give that advice, because actually I think a lot of people that start out videos these days tend to look at it as though, okay, this would be quite a quick thing to pick up, get into, it'll be fine. It's really not. I mean, it might look that way, but it's not. So I think it's reasonable advice to say that. Of course, streaming, I'm sure, is probably similar. But the thing with streaming is you never edit things really, like video-wise. You sort of just sit there and you're yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a different sort of perspective. I mean, you could say the same for videos, that you sit there and you be yourself, but everyone has their different personalities. The other piece of advice I quickly give on that is, if you're going to have your voice and your face involved with it, make sure you're confident. Don't try and put on something. So, like, if you're doing a video and you're putting on this whole thing, like, I really like this game, this is awesome, when actually you hate it and you don't want to play it, you don't want to be doing it, don't do that. People will see right through it and they will torture you to death for it. So don't do it. If anything, if you really, for whatever reason, want to play a game that you hate, don't have your voice, don't have a camera in it, because people will pick up on it. They really will. And that's why I stay away from any games that I personally don't like now. Because I know, people will see it. It's obvious. It comes straight through. Whether it's via the voice, whether it's via the face or like body expressions, or even sometimes in gameplay. Like, I won't play it as well because I won't be trying as hard because I don't like the game, right? So those are big points that I think overall, I think everyone should really look at if you're starting out anyway, on video editing overall. It's all key. All those points are really key. And I think being a person who's done it for so long, to give that advice to others so they could start out in the perfect spot, pretty much, is a really nice thing to do, really. It's a great thing overall.
No, that's great advice. I mean, I've been very fortunate to be in both boats. Like, I actually went through a whole phase of doing just videos, and the time, it really goes to show how much time and concentration and patience you need to actually edit a video. Like, even the one I just released, it literally, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The one I just released, it took about, I want to say 4.5 hours to put together. But you think that's editing down, like, to a 22-minute video, that is editing down a 3.5 hour stream. Like, 3 main Easter eggs. It does take time and it does take effort. But what I will say is that I personally find streaming a lot better. I find streaming much more entertaining, and I love interacting with all these people. But editing videos in a weird way is kind of, as Spike was saying earlier on, using the terminology, it's almost therapeutic in a way, because then, like, you can properly focus on getting the right snippets, make sure the editing is perfect to the way you want it, and then release it. But what you were saying earlier on, Alex, about like diving just head in, not having like a laid out plan or anything like that. It's I'm so glad I didn't go down that route, and I actually planned out, like, at the moment I'm doing the 3 streams on YouTube and 3 streams on Twitch with a day's break in between, and that actually works out really well, because then I'm not constantly jumping backwards and forwards. Like, I'm set with the 3 Monday to Wednesday for YouTube and the 3 Twitch Friday to Sunday, and it's nice. And then the videos are kind of a little extra thing, because I know exactly what I'm doing with them. Like, I'm not just putting it out just to put it out. I said to the chat, as soon as we finished the Victor CEs, that I will edit this down to a funny moments compilation. I think I even said it during the Diarise egg. Like, I will edit it down to a funny moments compilation because it's something that I wanted to do. And the Ascension Pack-a-Punch challenge we did the other day, I wanted to edit that down because there was one moment during that game where we were all going down one after the other, and it was just hilarious. Like, it was so much fun. And Zombies Jeopardy is something that I'm very looking forward to. I think that will be a very, very fun series, and it will again get the community involved. They can properly answer the questions and see how much they know about zombies. And so yeah, that's the content schedule. It's something that I would advise people to stick to. But what I will say is, and I cannot stress this enough, do not overwork yourself.
Yeah, I know that from experience.
Just if you overwork yourself, you will be burnt out, and you will hit kind of a dead point, which will be gone after a while. But I'd rather take my time with this content. I'm focusing on the streams and doing the videos as a side project, and then I'm able to kind of have a nice flow to it rather than just kind of going all bash type thing. So
you mean dolphin dive with your PhD straight into the
basically
abyss? But yeah, to finish it up, and then I'll obviously stop. But yeah, overall at the moment, for me, when it comes to zombies content creation, I'm really branching out and doing more with the community. I used to before kind of keep to myself for zombies, but now I'm really going full out and starting to do things that involve lots of people in the community. And yeah, so at the moment, the main series that are coming along are the All Easter Egg and Secret series, the Zombie Sound Quiz, which I'm going to start grabbing more people for. I've already got a few lined up, and Jack has got one for me as well. Whether he reveals or not is up to him. And of course, I've got the Zombie Historia series, and I've got 2 episodes with Zombie Who all recorded, and they'll be out very soon for that. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I'll let others talk.
that's great, dude. That was really good to hear. Galaxy, what about you, man?
Well, for me, since I'm mostly like streaming, which I want to try doing YouTube videos, I'm talking to a friend who wants to help me edit and teach me how to edit. He's telling me what to use because I want to push out like my idea saying how World War II was underrated, as earlier as I said. When I'm trying to stream now, where I'm at the point where I want to branch out and gather more people in the community like me to play games with me, and the challenges I've been doing recently, I've been testing out with my friend, is 1-box challenge, inverted controls, doing like the maps or doing even the boss fights too, with like no perks. We've been trying these different challenges to see how would it be, where we're going to do a one-box challenge. Like last night, I did a 1-box challenge, the Heisendrack Easter egg, and we're trying to see how that would work. It worked pretty well. I'm trying to test these things out, see if they would work. And I always get asked by people by streaming, like, how do you stream? Like, what's the best ways to do it? I'm like, honestly, I'm going to say stream small game and stream at a certain time. Don't stream middle of the day, stream in the morning or stream at night, because that's when you're going to get people. And then if you have a good follower base, you could do a day stream or a bigger game. Let's say you average 1 to 5 viewers, stream like Black Ops 2 at night. And let's say you average 10 viewers. Well, if you average 10, then try to stream like Modern Warfare, a big game like that. You might pull off like 3 new viewers and a couple new follows, but you have to stream. You have to figure out how the algorithm works on Twitch, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And since I get like 5 to 6, I usually just stay on the small games, and it's just figuring out how it works. For me, I stream the small games and stay on there. Sometimes I'll stream MW. I'll pull off a couple people, rarely, because then my friend, like, if he wants to get off, he'll host me, and he's the one that got me into streaming. So without him, I wouldn't be here, because he helped me. But the thing is, I knew him for 4 years when he started streaming. So without him, I wouldn't have got the confidence to do it, because he was think he was 19 and I was 14 when I met him when he started streaming. Now he's like 24, I'm 18, so you can see I knew him for that long where he is old enough and he taught me how to do things. But that's like my advice, like don't rush, figure out what you want to do. Like I don't rush my streams. Like if I'm gonna be the stop behind, usually I'll stream at like let's say usually I just stream when I want, late at night.
Yeah.
Anything before 10. If I'm gonna be late, it's my fault. I'm busy, there's something I want to do. I'm not gonna rush myself into streaming or anything.
And
So
so
that's
you
the
shouldn't.
best
Though.
advice I can give.
I mean, you shouldn't. Like, it's the thing with streaming is that at the end of the day, it's as you were saying though. And honestly, I think the advice you gave about like stream either in the morning or evening/night. Don't stream during the day. I think that is actually sound advice because, especially late at night, for us UK guys, late at night you have a lot of the American guys. They've all like woken up basically, and so while the time differences may suck, you will have a much because America's a fucking huge place, and you'll have a much more of an audience over there than what you will do over here. Like I'm pretty sure a good solid, I want to say maybe 75 to 80% of my audience is American because that's where they all are basically. So, but what kind of stuff do you like to? I mean, obviously besides zombies, like, is there any other stuff that you particularly like to stream?
Preferably, I like Outlast. That's
Ooh.
probably one thing I'll stream a lot, and I speedrun it to go for records. So far, my record is 55 minutes speedrunning the first game. That's what I like to do, and honestly, if anything else were to happen, I would love just for Red Barrels, just to their new game coming out, I would just love to play it early. Like, I love the game so much that I actually bought the comics and read them. Like, that's how serious I am.
Nice.
I never got involved to a game like that instead of zombies. So that's probably the one thing I'll stream. It's small, but like I have to look at the viewer count, and that's my thing on streaming. If you're gonna stream on Twitch, look at the viewer count. That is the first thing I recommend. If there's a game you want to stream, look at it, and then look at your viewers that you average on that month, or you're averaging this past week, and make sure you know you're going to do it right. You have to figure out what can get you. And now, me, I don't care to play competitive or good. I just care to communicate with the fan base and act and just talk.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing, I'm just playing. I'm more of interactive. It just depends who you are. I have a friend who I knew for 2 years, and he asked me, I want to start streaming, and he's really good at Apex. I don't play that game, but he's really good at it. I'm like, start off small and then grab your follower base in Apex. You're either going to have some people staying here for one game, or you're going to have people coming just for you. That's how it is. You're not going to have people just coming for you. You're going to have them coming for a certain game you play or this game. It all depends on what it is.
Wow, that's what I respect that because it is a like Ron, I've always said that you should play the games that you enjoy playing, the games that you really love. That you really obviously the thing is right when you have a large audience, they're gonna know you mostly from the game that they first saw you playing, and for my fucking whole audience, it is Call of Duty Zombies. And so that's why zombies will always be. I love zombies to bits. Absolutely love zombies to bits. I think zombies it's something that will stick with me for a very, very, very long time. But the idea of branching out to other games is I want to try something different, and I wanted to see how. Not just how I would react to it, but how the audience would react to it as well. And that's when I started doing the Walking Dead Telltale series. And people absolutely loved that. Mafia 2 I absolutely enjoyed. People seemed to like that. And Borderlands. Borderlands is a very 50-50 at the moment, but we've only done 2 streams, so I can't really get a good idea of it. But it is finding out what the fan base likes as well, and that's why I put in the Discord a game recommendations channel, so people like to see what people would like to see to be streamed, and they're recommending all these different games, like from Outlast to I think to Doom to I'm pretty sure someone promoted Gears of War, and then I saw Assassin's Creed in there, and it's like the variety is insane. Absolutely.
Someone recommended Gears and it wasn't me.
Yeah, really.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but unless it was you, Spike, that recommended Gears, I'm not really sure.
I have been very active in the Discord, of course, as you may know. But
no, not in the channel. Like actually, like
oh,
you like basically
then,
you've
yeah,
been
it's
telling
probably
me,
me.
yeah, Gears is a great game. You should definitely try it. Basically,
yeah.
like, and I'll get a lot of that. But it's nice to have that channel there because then when one game runs out for Friday, like say for Friday night games, when one game runs out, I have those recommendations there to say, or maybe I want to give that a try, or maybe I want to give that a try and see, you know, what people make of it. And that's kind of the way, that's the way that I will look for. I will look forward with my streams, because zombies will always be here. You know, for the zombie people, they will always have the content. Zombies will forever be what the YouTube channel is and will be. But Twitch is that nice platform to really branch out, and you get all these whole variety of viewers out there that will see you play this game and be like, yeah, you know what, I like this guy's personality, or you know, like, yeah, he's playing my favorite game type thing. And it's just a good way to really build up the audience and really branch out on it.
Right. You just gotta branch out to games you like. I only stream the small games I like, and that's what I tell people, to stream the small games that you personally like. Yeah, there could be old, and they're like, yeah, but I want to play the new Call of Duty. Well, if you're gonna have like Tfue or someone like that streaming it, you're out of luck to pull any kind of people. Don't want to sound rude there, but
Yeah,
people like to see the big people because, well, either they're good at the game or they just like to hear their voice and hear how they interact with the audience. So it just all depends on your choice and what you want to do.
yeah,
That's what I like to think at the end of the day.
Oh,
'Cause I had someone that said, stream this game. I'm like, I'm the streamer. Like, yeah, it's my choice, but I am going to listen to ideas like of a category. Like, if you give me horror, I'm going to look into it, see if I like it. I'll try it.
Yeah, I think taking suggestions is always a good thing. Like it's your way of then you're not turning around and saying to them, no, I'm never going to stream that game. You're taking the suggestion, you're putting it in a bunch of other suggestions that you have, and like, you know, maybe one day you will actually get around to it, and then the viewer will see that you actually listened to them, you took their suggestion, and who knows, you might play the game and you will really love it. And like that was Mafia 2 for me. Like, I played that game, and now that game is my number 3 game of all time. Like, just with how well that game was, I freaking loved it. And so yeah, but it is. I mean, your audience do play a big part. But it's up to you as the streamer at the end of the day to choose the content that you want to play. You can take suggestions, but at the end of the day, you are the alpha to these guys. Like, you are the person there that these guys are watching. Like, chances are there are going to be loads of people out there. They're going to take one look at you and instantly come up with, you know what, I like this guy, or I fucking hate this guy. Like, it doesn't take them much to properly change their perspective. Like, or you could say one word and they could be like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. What the fuck is he on about? I'm just like, dude, it's who I am. You don't like it? Bye-bye.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
All right, this is me. Don't like it? Don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, that's not like, it sounds like you guys have the content really really good, like good to go basically. Like you have an idea of what you want to see in the future, and you know where the path is going at the moment, and so yeah, that sounds. I mean, that sounds brilliant. It really does. I mean, Carl, do you have any like future plans for your stream? Are you going to be sticking to zombies, or because obviously on Mixer you branched out to all these different games, and do you kind of want to continue that with Twitch?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that really was great about Mixer. It's probably why I grew really fast in the 10 months that I was on it. Was because of course, like I could just stream from right the console. So I didn't have PC at the time. So I could just play any and every game that I had. But now, until I get a Elgato and actually hook, my console and play it like that, I could do it. So I need to get one of those soon, and then I'll start branching out more. That's been mainly the reason I don't do it. I mean, I could go on the console and I could pull up Twitch and I could do it without a face cam and stuff, which, I mean, I did good without a face cam before, so I can't imagine I wouldn't do good now. But I think since having the PC, I just feel like it's like broadened my streams a lot more. I just feel like it's personally, like I'd rather do it that way than just be a voice, Not saying it would be worse, but just the fact that I just feel like it just enhances it overall.
Sure. No, I get that.
So yeah, I do play more.
I think branching out is definitely it's definitely a good thing to try. But what you were saying about like the webcams, I would honestly find it incredibly difficult to go back to streaming without a webcam. Like having a webcam really allows your audience to properly see who you are as a person and properly, get a good sense of like your personality and things like that. Because when you don't have a webcam, you're just a voice, and a voice could be anything. Like you could be saying one thing but actually doing another thing. Whereas with the webcam, they can see everything. Like they can see the person you are, they can see your personality, really get a good judge of your character, and that's what I really like most about it. Not everyone is gonna. Thing is, out there, not everyone is gonna like you, and that's a fact that people have to face. Like you could have one of the biggest audiences in the world, but there will still be a group of audiences that won't like that you won't like. Well, that won't like you basically. But you've got to look at the group of audience that do really like your personality, like who you are as a person, and and that's how your community then starts to properly build.
Yeah, that's what shocked me because for the majority of Mixer, I never even used the camera, and it shocked me how much people actually liked me because obviously gaining 323 followers has to mean that they actually like just your voice. And I'm thinking like, I always thought you needed a webcam. I always thought a webcam was like the best way that you would grow being a streamer, especially being a newfound streamer. Yeah. Nobody knows you. But man, I don't know. I can't see why they like me. That's why I ask a lot of different people like you or Joker or Spike or anybody. I could ask anybody like, what, I mean, like, why do y'all like me? Or do you like me? Do you think I do good? Or give me like feedback but I guess I just do good with my voice and my impressions, I guess, freaking out and raging and being happy. I don't know.
You streamed for I've streamed with a webcam since day one.
Right.
Like, and I've recorded with a webcam since day one. Mm-hmm. But you started obviously because you stream from your Xbox, you started with just your voice, and then once you got the PC, you then came to use a webcam. How have you found it to be any different, or have you found it to be kind of the same in terms of like the streaming side of it?
Yeah, like because I feel like Mixer and Twitch are so different platforms. Meaning, like, I don't mean to like say that, or I don't mean to discredit my own success on Mixer, but also not discredit Mixer, because I just feel like Twitch is a higher level of being a streamer. Like, I feel like on Mixer, I had a lot more like people coming in going, I want to play with you, because it's like everybody on Xbox probably, that plays, that doesn't stream, just comes in and they expect, oh, this is a streamer, like he's he must be good. I want to play with him. Whereas I feel
Yeah.
like Twitch has just more of a like, I want to come and watch this person because, you know, sort of like the YouTubers I like, I come to watch them because they're a performer to an, you know, to a certain extent.
Sure.
But also I feel like Mixer was a lot easier, and I don't know, maybe not, but I feel like it's a lot easier to gain your traction like a lot faster on Mixer than Twitch.
I always saw Mixer as like a good starting place to start streaming.
Exactly.
Because it's such
Very
a
much.
there's such a broad audience for
Yep.
that stuff.
Right. It was a good. It worked out because it's like I said. Like I'm not really disappointed because I could move enough people to Twitch like that, and like in what a week and a half, I was already affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
So it really
Yeah.
helped. I'm glad, like you said, Spike. I'm glad I started on Mixer because I could build a fan base or a base.
I mean,
But yeah, I don't think it's changed much, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I gained a lot of more followers a lot faster. But even on Twitch, though, I surprise myself sometimes at how many people come in and then boom, they're following. It's like, wow, okay.
yeah, it does. I mean, just going off of like, you know, no thumbs crew. By the way, dude, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming by
Oh.
the podcast, man. Do webcams make a huge difference? And people are going to I mean, people are gonna have different answers for this. Like me personally, I think webcams do make a difference for your audience. Like, I feel it much better. It's why, like, whenever I browse through Twitch, looking for like all these different streamers, I much prefer people who use a webcam or a face cam because I can really get a sense to know kind of what kind of person they are. And so we'll go around. So me personally, I think yes, it does make a difference. Alex, what about you?
I think it depends on what you're doing. So in my case, like zombies, usually I have a webcam on for that. Unless it's a very specific video, like a guide or something, then no, because it's not really needed in my opinion. Because you're just going through steps, right? You don't need your face there.
Sure, that's fair.
Now I can say that if you're playing general games, I think again it depends on your audience. See, like for me, with my audience, they sometimes like me to sit there and talk and show my face while playing the games. Sometimes they prefer it when I just do straight gameplay and that's it.
Yeah.
So it really depends on your audience, I think, overall. I would say that for me, for zombies, I'll always still talk. I'll always still have my face. Same with like Star Wars Battlefront games, like the old ones and that. I'll still show my face in that. For some of these other separate games, like Harry Potter's or whatever, I'll probably just do it without the face and voice because people prefer that. People like to watch those without that. So I think really overall you have to go on what your audience wants.
Sure.
But again, it depends how you start out in some ways. So like I did start out with a voice, but I never started out with the camera. But again, it's changed like over time. It's always changing. So yeah, I think all I can say is you got to go for what your fans want. Usually, what I do with my channel is I put in a poll like, do you want me to talk on this series? Do you want me to have a face in that in this series, or do you want it to just be the straight up gameplay? So then people can vote. That way, you can see what people want. Best way of doing it, in my opinion. If you are a video content creator, streamer, I'm sure it's very different. But yeah.
Okay. Galaxy, what about you, man?
For me, I want to stream with a face cam. I just don't have the proper money to get one right now because right now I'm saving up for a computer.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm very self-conscious about my face, but I feel like I'm confident in myself that if I show my face, I will be accepted. I know there's some people that are going to be like, oh, blah, 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 but that's just people being rude because, as you said earlier, there's some people that are like, I don't like you just for how you are.
Yeah.
I can accept that, but that's just to me. I've been streaming without the face cam, so it would be a new step into the direction. But I feel like that's what I need to do. I want to stream with one. I feel self-conscious, yes, but it's something I have to do, and I'm ready for that. But I feel like it's better to stream off face cam because they can see your reaction than hearing your voice. Seeing someone's facial expressions is better than just hearing the voice.
Yeah.
Unless your voice is very open like mine. Like people say like I have these reactions by my voice that are just, it's just funny, and that's why some people really like stay with me because they like my reactions to playing games just randomly from my voice.
Yeah.
I mean, what you were saying there about reactions, like you look at the vast majority of reaction videos on YouTube, I'd say a good solid 98% of them are people with face cams and webcams, and reacting to something with a webcam is so much different because the reaction is much more genuine than people just doing it with just voice. And that's again, like, that's not to say that people who that's not to say that their reaction isn't genuine. I'm 100% sure it is, but you can see for yourself that literal, like, I've done so many reaction videos, and just having it with the webcam, it is very different, and I much prefer it because then people can see like they can see a proper reaction because they can see your facial expression, your body language, and this is from a guy who's done drama GCSE. Okay, all that stuff, it does matter and it does play a part. Body language, facial expressions, all that sort of stuff. It makes you a character in your own way, and that's how I've always seen not just reaction videos, but everything to do with using a webcam, basically. So Spike, what about you?
I'd say for what Alex said too, like it really does depend on what game you're playing.
Okay. Okay, so if you were to stream with a webcam, would there be a particular game that you would use a webcam and wouldn't use a webcam?
Definitely horror.
Oh, that's
Just so like
Right.
it'd be more suitable for when it comes to like first playthroughs of like horror games, or like first playthroughs of like games in general, like with like Outlast. There's like plenty of jump scares and stuff like that, and obviously there's like compilations of like some of the jump scares in Outlast, and like you get to see some really genuine reactions to that stuff.
okay.
Instead of like you see them like reacting to it physically, but instead of just hearing them react to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. See that. Oh, what about you?
Yeah. See, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, my great example is like, because I like not only the voice, but I do get very much wrapped in like the YouTubers I like, their personality, their what they look like, their image, just everything about them. So like basically like Johnny J, like I loved his Q&A series. That's when I found him. But he never needed a webcam for that. It was perfect because his voice is so good. He has such a good like on-air voice. And for that series, it was just so nice with the music that he would play in the background with his voice. It was perfect. But when it came to Zombroz, I really wanted to see like them. That's what like wrapped me up. Then I got to see what he looked like. I got to see facial expressions. John's like very memey type. Kind of likes to joke around from time to time. And I thought that dynamic like between Reed and John was just perfect for Zombroz to have webcams. So it's like for his Q&A, it was great to not. You didn't really have to see him. But when it came to Zombroz, like it was perfect. So I think, like Alex and Spike said, it can vary on the content and the circumstance. But ultimately, I do like to at least see them as well. Because it kind of completes it.
It says Alex and Spike were saying content definitely plays a big part in that, and I think seeing a webcam reaction to horror games is by far the way to go, because your audience can get such a kick out of it, and they can like really, well, to be honest, the way you react might be the way they react. They might be kind of on the same level as you with horror games, and when you jump, they jump. and so they're just like, oh yeah, we did it at the same time. Like they kind of get that
Yeah.
those kicks out of it. So yeah, content definitely plays a big aspect on that. But I mean, it's like, No Thumbs Crew actually just said here, if you build a fan base without a webcam, would swapping to a cam excel you to the next level, do you think? And I'd honestly say the biggest one out of everyone in this group here is probably Kyle, because he started full on without a webcam, and then as soon as he got his PC, he moved to a webcam. And so, like, I would say that, I mean, would it excel you to the next level? I wouldn't say it would excel you to the next level. It would definitely help.
I'd say it's part of the building blocks.
Yes, yeah.
Because like as Pete said here, it's I said in the chat, it's like it's feeling that connection to put that face to a voice.
It does.
And like and a great example too, Jack, is when you got first rated by Pizza. He was looking for people with a face cam, and you were one of I think you were the first person that he saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely say that. So yeah, I would say it definitely helps. But if anything, I would say using a webcam does more. It does kind of the same level for you as it does for your audience, but which is using a webcam, I would say definitely builds up your confidence. Like, I completely understand that people are self-conscious of kind of the way they look. I'm a very self-conscious person. That's, I always have been. I think partially because I have been using a webcam since day one, I've been so comfortable with it that I think, I don't know, it's hard to explain really. I think being comfortable with it is kind of the best way I can put it in that text. But it definitely connects you with the audience, and as you were saying, puts a voice to a face. And it's like, and that is very much like, there are so many people that I've only heard their voice and I haven't really seen what they look like. But there have been a few where I've known them for so long, and then I finally put like a lot of the people that I met online, like Retro Sheep for instance. I've only known him by a voice, and then the other day I finally met him in person. And you know what? It was so wonderful to put I met him in person, Kyle. I can see the facial expression.
Dang, I want to. Oh man, I want to see.
And so it was really nice to put a voice to a face. I mean, it's a bit different from him because I've been using the webcam, but I only know him by a voice. And so, also, I think meeting someone in person is also a very, very big stepping stone. Like, there are people online that I do want to meet in person. There are people, and granted, there are people who I can easily meet in person because they're easily accessible because they're not that far away from me. But then you've got people who are halfway across the world, and I'm just like, I wish I had $1 million just to fly on a plane to come over there to meet those people. Like, if I would love, I know this would never happen. I would love nothing more than to come to America and just do one massive gathering of all of my American friends. No matter where you are in America, just all come to this one place, and we all just have this one big gathering that we're just, we're laughing, we're happy, we're cheerful. All the positive vibes are kind of exploding out of our brains. I would love nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just think
Agreed.
time differences and distance, it sucks. But unfortunately, it is the way the world goes. And Kyle,
too bad we have a currency that kind of rules the world.
Yeah, and honestly, Kyle, I'm gutted that I won't be coming to America next year because I was really looking forward to. But I can assure, I will assure you just as much as I will assure Pete. Okay, you two, I will meet in person. Okay, and I don't know when it will be, but I will meet you both in person at some stage. Like it will happen. I don't know when.
Yeah.
But
See, I thought Pete for you was would be easily accessible, but I don't want to get into.
He is.
Oh yeah, okay, good, okay, that's nice.
He's
That's...
about I want to say 2 hours, a 2-hour drive, which I can easily
nice.
do. I travel like an
Yeah.
hour and a half every day, so 2 hours for me,
wow.
piece of cake.
Yeah.
Zoe, on the other hand, is a little bit different. She is 5 hours away, a little over 5 hours away. Which honestly, I would do that trek if it was to meet someone in person. I would honestly do that trek. I traveled down to Wales, for crying out loud, to meet people who I met online. Like, it's, you know, I'm willing to go those great lengths to meet these people, because especially if they're good friends. Like, I will trek. Honestly, I would honestly put a large backpack on me and I would trek just to like these places just to meet people. That's how much I love and enjoy meeting people in person. Meeting them in people is so much different. Because it feels like a connection that's properly clicked in a way. But it will happen. It will happen someday. Don't know when, but.
I mean, it was an interesting fact for me the other day, knowing that you're like an hour away from me.
Yeah.
Like, that surprised the hell out of me, actually.
And honestly, Alex, it can be done. If you ever want to meet up in person, dude, I would absolutely love to. 100%.
Yeah, it would be cool to meet people. I mean, it's always nice to, like, it's cool seeing a person in a camera, like you were saying, but actually talking to them face to face, like interacting with them, like right there, right then, going out, having a drink or something, you really get to learn more about that personality overall. And I mean, I've had that in the past. Like, I've met some of these people that I used to actually help edit videos for in the past on their channels, face to face over here. It was awesome, you know? It was absolutely awesome being able to sit down, have a drink with them, actually talk to them properly. You get to know a lot more about each other, and it's great. It really is. It makes a massive difference. It truly does. And actually, the one thing I would recommend to people is if you ever want to meet a lot of these content creators face to face, a lot of these big conventions, like for example, last year here in the UK, EGX in London, I went down there with my mate. We met some of these other people that are on YouTube, and you know, we actually got to sit down and like have a little chat with them, got to see who they really were. It's a great place for talking to people. It's a great place for networking. So seriously, if you ever get the opportunity to do that, take that opportunity. I mean, I went down there not just obviously to play new games and that, which was cool, but to actually get to talk to all these different people. Also got to talk to some devs, you know, who make the games. Like, it's a great experience. Do not ever throw that away. If you're ever offered it, take it. Go do it. Don't throw it away. It makes a big difference. It really does.
I would love to do that.
I wanted to say, Jack, the way that you pretty much like to say, like, oh yeah, I'm an hour away from this guy, I'm 5 hours away from this person. You literally just described like the entirety of UK as like this massive town where it's like there's a fuckload of traffic. That's basically what it seems like to me. But then I talked to Sam and he's like, oh yeah, I'm in California, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? That'll take that's like a whole day's worth of fucking like just of like flight. Not like a whole day's worth, more like 10 hours. Probably like a 10-hour flight.
The UK,
but still, that's like a lot of money.
is,
Where like for you, Jack, it's like, oh, it's just gas money.
I mean, it kind of
really.
is. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I've had my fair experience with traffic. Okay, granted, the longer distances I would probably go by train because then I can actually have a drink. But hey, what I said about the UK is true. It is a big place with tons of traffic. Like, you know, it is, and I've seen.
But it just the way that people talk about it, it just seems so tiny.
Yeah,
well, when you're sitting there for hours, going nowhere, yeah, it kind of feels a bit tiny. Believe me, I know what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, the way I mean, obviously, like being an hour, 2 hours away from people, it's very different than being 5 hours away from people or having to jump on like a 10-hour flight to go and see people. It is very different, but it is also very, very dependent on where you are situated in the UK. Like you could be, because you have all these different, like Pete says he's more south central. I'm more southeast. Like I don't know, Alex. I mean, if you're an hour away, I'd say you're more southeast. Is that right? Yeah. And so it's very dependent on kind of where you are situated in the UK. That would depend on the time difference. Like the distance basically between one another.
There's no time difference really, but yeah.
No, there isn't.
It just sounds like a big square.
But
big
the
square.
UK is a big square.
That's one way of putting it.
God, could you imagine we've just lived in a giant SpongeBob, like just a big square.
Oh my lord.
Oh, that's funny. Like Galaxy, have you ever had those kinds of people that you speak to a lot online and then you finally met in person?
Yes. There
Yeah.
is the person that helped me started streaming. He actually lives an hour away from me,
Oh, nice.
up north. And it's funny because I knew him when I first met him, and he said he lived in Illinois. I was like, wow, you live in Illinois too? Well, when we started talking more and more, now I recently found out because we haven't talked in 2 years. He stopped streaming for like 2 years, and now he's back. When I started talking to him again, he said, like, I'm like, do you still live in Illinois? He's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, I told him where I said, and he's like, dude, that's like 2 hours away from me. I'm like, what? Now there's other people he introduced me to. There's one that's 30 minutes away. There's another person that I met online that's 25 minutes away from me. So I'm meeting people that are just like north of me, south of me, because I'm in the central of Illinois.
Wow.
So
Can you help me answer this infamous question?
Yes.
Why are Illinois drivers so fucking trash?
That's I don't know. I literally hate Illinois so much. I'm trying to get out.
I fucking hate Illinois drivers. They're like, what's a turn signal? Like I'd be on the highway and I'd
That's
see
the
this
UK.
Yeah, that's here too.
Nobody knows that in the UK either. Don't worry.
They have
You're not
no,
alone.
Yeah.
they have no fucking clue what an indicator is.
No. It's a
No.
nightmare on roundabouts. Everyone's sitting there like.
And also you
Right.
get
I get-
those like I don't really care what kind of car you drive, okay, but I'm saying this to say this, okay? BMW drivers, you are the worst kinds of drivers out there in this world. Okay,
In the UK.
I've come across many of your fucking kind that you do not know how to use an indicator. Okay, you literally skirt around people as if you're a fucking race car, and so and then you get right up someone's ass, and then you fob them off because apparently they've done the wrong. Okay, honestly, BMW drivers, just get out of there, dude. I fucking hate you all. Like,
The part of Illinois I live, it's like if I go up north a little bit more, I'm in the bad part. Because Illinois is Chicago, so I get the bad part up there. If I'm driving up there, I have my music. I'm just chilling. There's like 4 cars just blaring music, and when I try to turn left, I'm in the turn lane. They're in the other lane that goes straight. That has no turn. They just turn left, and I'm like, really? You got to do that? Like, blaring your music. You got your headphones in, and I'm like, what else are you gonna do?
Like, there's one guy.
Yeah, like,
there's
the
one guy the
people
other
that
day.
drive-
Oh, go on, sorry, go on.
People that like I'd be just in here doing what I do, and then like people would be driving past my house like on the road. Fucking, you can literally just hear their vehicle shake from how fucking loud their music is.
Yep. Same here. Same here.
Every day I stream, there's about 3 quad bikes that drive up and down this fucking road. Okay? They are the loudest motherfuckers going. In terms of like, well, I mean, in terms of like actually blaring music, like the other day, this one guy, he was in, I can't remember what the car was, but he's like one of those cool dudes, you know, he's just like, he thinks he's the best driver ever. He's got one hand on the steering wheel, he's chilling like that, you know, he's kind of, you know, scurrying and between different roads and everything. He got right up my ass. He was so close to hitting my car, and trust me when I say, you get that close to my car, I'm going to take fucking measures, okay? Because my car is my fucking baby. And so he got so close that I actually moved into the next lane. He drove past me and literally done this. Fucking wanker. And literally, he
Fucking prick.
he sped right off, right? But then we actually hit the traffic. I pulled up next to him and I went, "Hey, you fucking wanker," and then I just drove off.
I knew it. The wanker. I love it.
There are some incredible drivers in the UK, I have to say. I've come across some very entertaining ones, especially ones that do a U-turn in the middle of a road where you're not meant to do a U-turn.
Mhm.
Like, it would just be going straight, and then all of a sudden they'll just slam on the brakes, and then they don't give a shit about anyone that's coming either way. And they just start doing a U-turn. You're like, the fuck are you on? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're like amazed that these people are doing this. It's crazy, man. Like, there's some weird drivers out there. There really are. And BMW people are just arrogant sods sometimes. They really
They
are.
are.
Like, they have no patience. You'll just be driving along like normal, and they'll be right up your ass, and then they'll go right, like when they try to overtake you as well. Like, here's your car. They'll be like right there. Like, you almost feel like your wing mirror is just gonna fly off any second.
Yep.
It's unbelievable, man.
And
Unbelievable.
I'd say a close second as well are Mercedes drivers.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'll tell you one thing, right? Okay, Mercedes drivers can't park for shit. Okay, that you could have the biggest bay that's about as big as Bikini Bottom. Okay, and they will still find a way to park like an absolute twat. And I'm like, is you for real? Like this, I work for a law firm. Okay, and we had a Mercedes client come in. Right? Okay, he's parked his car diagonal over 2 spaces. I'm looking at the car and I'm thinking, fucking Jesus Christ, are you for real? And I was actually tempted to turn around and tempted to turn around and say to him, like, obviously, you know, I've got to keep professional, and so I was just tempted to turn around and say to him, would you mind actually parking in the bay, because then when another client comes in, they can park next to you. And well, I can only imagine the response I would have gotten. Like, I would probably just get, like, you know, the fobs off, and, you know, like, I'm pretty sure. Oh god, if that was actually a teenager who'd done that, if he'd gone with a friend, I can picture exactly what they do, right? Okay, so they would literally, they'd be like, okay, you know, okay, right, like, thinking they're actually listening to you. They will reverse out. They will drive out of the car park, but then I know for a fact I will see in the back window someone just go. Like, that's the kind of shit.
Don't have the
That is the
handicap stuff
fucking
at all.
worst.
So we decide to write a note saying, "Nice job, dipshit. Park in the correct spot next time." And they're also taking up half the space too, like almost touching our car. So I put the note on their windshield, like the rear view mirror, actually, not the windshield. And I'm like, you know, let's stay here and see what happens. So we sit there and wait for the person to come back. It's like 20 minutes later. They come back. They put all their groceries in, and they see the note. They take it and put it on the next car and drive away.
Oh my
was like,
fucking god.
I was like, I should have got out and yelled at the person, but I felt like it was going to turn into a whole thing that wouldn't be a good thing.
Damn.
You just get some, like, really arrogant drivers out
I'm
there.
fucking mad hearing about that.
That's a big problem with lazy motherfuckers in the U.S. They just love parking in handicap spots.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
park anywhere.
absolute fucking terrible. I've seen some people in like the Walmart parking lot. They take up like 2 to maybe 3 spaces depending on their car, and they're like they park horizontally.
Yep.
Oh, I'm getting triggered just actually thinking about
Fucking
these
hate it
assholes.
here.
Like, seriously.
Jack, you're
Can
muted.
you hear Jack?
Hello?
You're muted.
Hello?
Jack.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jack, you're
no,
muted.
no. Come
Yeah, he
on.
said he had it fixed, but
Come on. No.
Jack is dead. All right, our show
Stream,
now.
can you hear me? Wait, stream can hear me.
right. Yeah, Spike's like, I triumphed this time. It's Jack.
Stream can... Hello?
Spike's like,
Hello?
not me. Not today. Wait,
Hello?
I can... Sounds weird.
Hello?
Okay,
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, basically, during Galaxy's story, the cable on my mic got knocked, and it completely, like, kind of cut everything out. And so, when it does that, my mic... But I bought a new cable from Amazon, so I've got to change it over. But yeah, so that was an interesting conversation to say the least.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll tell you what, I think let's actually move into topic time. So
Okay.
we'll let Spike have the floor as he has the topics. And Callum, I did see you in the chat, dude. We actually covered your question earlier on. What do you mean something went missing? Hello? Oh, there we go. Is he there? Spike? No. Oh no! Don't tell me
Yeah,
it's
no,
Discord.
he's good muted.
I bet his Discord's mucked up again.
Hope not.
Guys, it's not a zombies podcast without technical difficulties.
Yeah,
we are
right, I
we are
used to be-
becoming the official new Zombroz with all these fucking technical difficulties.
Yep.
Okay, I think
Yep.
Spike's Discord just crashed, so I will start on the topics. So, for those of you who don't know, if you join the Discord, you can be a part of Topic Time. This is a segment we do every week where you guys submit questions for myself, my co-host, and our guests to answer on the show. So if you're new around here, be sure to join the Discord. Much love. Okay, so getting into the first one. It's from my boy Pete. He says, "What's your top 3 favorite custom maps?"
Sorry, I had to go. Yeah, okay, what's up?
Okay, well, I've just read out the first topic time, Spike, but you can continue
Okay.
after. So top 3 favorite custom zombie maps. I'll go first on this one actually. My top 3 are Wanted. I will definitely say Atonement, and if I'm being truthfully honest, I would honestly say Europa. Only because I had so much fucking fun on that map. Just laughing and just absolutely crying my eyes out with laughter. And so I would honestly say those 3. Yeah, I'd go with those 3. What about the rest of you?
Oh
I don't-
man, top 3. Like, and there's so many custom maps out there as well. Probably say Leviathan Remastered and Europa are definitely up there. They're both incredibly awesome custom maps. It's kind of a tie between the other 2 for me, as one of them's actually back on World at War for custom maps. And actually, like, I like the Harry Potter games, but it was basically a zombies map based off of that. It was a really good map overall, a lot of fun. But otherwise, it would be Wanted. So it's a tie between those 2 for me. But otherwise, the other 2, definitely Leviathan Remastered and Europa, are easily top tier.
Nice. Okay, Kyle?
Yeah, definitely Leviathan, Europa. Those 2 definitely stand out as being really like top notch. PhD Town?
Oh God.
No,
I need to
mean,
find out
no.
what this map is. I need to find out what this
Dude.
map is.
You're
Okay.
up to play it, mate.
Yeah, Joker has introduced me to PhD Town now. Who's Who, which is
Who's
actually
who down now? Yeah.
pretty cool. I'd give those like really funny, like honorable mention, like meme map. You know, just you gotta play it if you're a Zombies fan. If you're a real Zombies fan, you'd love it, Jack. It's just yeah. Like the third. what
I'm
do
a
they
real
think?
zombies fan. How dare
Like
you?
if you're a real, yeah, like hardcore, like
If you
You
know your
real-
jingles,
right.
then
If
you'll
you
be
get
fine.
like if you
I
get,
know my jingles.
you understand the
Awesome.
team that is UC. No, but I'm trying to think of the other map. There's another one I thought I had that like really stood out really well. And now I can't think of which one it was exactly. But yeah, Europa, Leviathan are great. Those are really two great ones.
Okay. Galaxy?
I'll think about it.
I've only seen videos because I don't have a computer, but Leviathan, yeah, that one. I honestly like that's probably the only one I've really watched because the only ones I watched was like those random small maps YouTubers will play. Like, you know how Tim Hansen will get like random people to make maps. That's mostly what I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just gotta stay with Leviathan.
Okay. Spike?
Leviathan, Europa, and like one of the goofy maps that I can't remember who played it. It's either Lex or Johnny that's played like those maps where it's like it's completely made out of a perk machine.
That's the one we were
That's
on
it,
about.
right,
That was
that's
it.
Oh, that one.
Exactly.
Like it's completely made out of tombstone, completely made out of PhD, completely made out of jug. Like just those in general.
Okay. Alright, Spike, do you want to carry on with topic time or?
Yes.
Yes.
Take Out Mars asks, should next gen consoles receive support for custom maps?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
I didn't even have to fucking second
Oh,
guess
yeah.
that. Yes.
In a perfect world, obviously, yes. But like, I'm sure I wouldn't think Microsoft or like, especially Sony. Sony is really fucking strict. In a perfect world, absolutely, but I wouldn't think they would allow that. Maybe Microsoft would allow that, but definitely not Sony. Sony's very strict about shit like that.
I'd say you definitely have a better chance with Microsoft because they own both Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
So
I think the only way around it would be to do something like what Far Cry does and that, and have a map maker integrated basically into the game. It's not like
Yeah.
Activision will ever allow that, but you know, if they
Or
did that,
something-
then
Yeah.
you get away with it.
Something like how Fallout 4 does, like you can have mods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
like you're also limited on like assets, but you can make your own assets. Unlike on PlayStation, it's very bare bones.
it'd be a kind of annoyance to get the much larger sized maps on there. Like take a map like Leviathan, for instance, one that has still got like quite a big download size. I'd imagine it'd take quite a bit of effort to get those on there. But in terms of like the smaller maps, like I don't know, like Town Reimagined or like the Thomas the Tank Engine map, like smaller ones like that would be, I would say, a little bit more easier to get on there. But to answer the question, I think yes, I think next gen consoles should have the capacity to support custom maps. Whether it will happen or not is a good question. I highly doubt it, but you never know. They might pull something out of their sleeve.
It's just that we have a better bet with Microsoft.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
100%.
Definitely.
Okay. Right. What's the next one, Spike?
Pete asks, do you think content creators or Treyarch / Activision themselves are more to blame for the poor reception of Black Ops 4? Personally, I genuinely think that it's the content creators' fault for this, for blowing just a reputation of Black Ops 4 has been ruined by content creators. Like they blew this shit out of the water that it should have. Like it's heavily overreacted.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I honestly think that I completely agree with you, Spike, in the sense that content creators are I would say they're the main reason for Black Ops 4's failure, because I mean, obviously, when it comes to like large audiences, they literally act like sheep. As soon as a content creator doesn't like a map, the audience is very, very quick to jump on board and say, "Oh no, I don't like this map," and they're literally just repeating what the content creator actually says.
Like let's take an example here. So like, how many subscribers does Noah J456 have?
He's like 4.7 now, I think.
Yeah, so nearly 5 million people are here listening to Noah's opinion about Black Ops 4, and he says that it's absolutely fucking dog shit. How many of those people are going to be like, yeah, Black Ops 4 is dog shit, instead of actually forming their own opinion of their experience with the game?
To be truthful, if I had to give a percentage, I would honestly say 95%. I wouldn't go any lower. I'd say for an audience that's as big as Noah's, where you're nearing on 5 million subscribers, I would honestly say that there's going to be that small little group, and that small little group is the 5% that do make up their own opinions and all that. But the vast majority are very, very quick to follow the content creator in terms of the stuff that they like and the stuff that they dislike.
Absolutely.
And so
I think.
sorry. No, go on, Alex. Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's kind of a mix of everyone's fault in some ways. While I agree, yeah, the content creators definitely have a big part in it, because as soon as they were negative or started taking the piss, you know, everyone started just reacting to that, and it just carried on right for the whole thing. But looking back at it, first of all, Activision, they would have known that Black Ops 4 was in a terrible state. They would have totally known this. So, as far as I'm concerned, it was inexcusable for them to release it in the state it was in. I don't care if they're trying to compete with Red Dead 2. I don't give a shit. They should not have released it in that state.
Yeah, it was inexcusable for them to launch it in October.
It was
November.
Completely.
It was
Absolutely
inexcusable. Absolute disgrace. They should be ashamed of that, and I hope that haunts them forever. Because if they make another mistake like that again, they don't deserve, quite frankly, to keep getting away with that. Because that's ridiculous. Especially for the price of that game. You know, there are indie companies, right? Smaller indie game studios that do a better job than that. And that's ridiculous. But, so yeah, Activision, I think, have got a big blame on that. As for Treyarch, I think they did what they did. You know, they tried to do as much as they could. Their biggest mistake, in my view, was putting way too much content out on launch. They should not have done that. That was a very stupid mistake. Because honestly, everything has been hurt by that. It may look great, you know, going out there and going, we got 4 maps on launch, you know, we got everything you could possibly want. But actually, if you really look at it, everything on launch on BO4 is hurt as a result of it. The map, for example, that everyone was so excited for, really wanted to be a massive success, Blood of the Dead, is a disaster. That should never have been a disaster. It's a mess. And I think if they had spent more time, hell, even just had 2 on launch, 1 big one, 1 small one. Like, let's take an example again of Aether. So have Blood of the Dead only as the big map on launch, have Classified as the small map on launch. You know, I think just those 2, they could have absolutely nailed it. But they have 3 freaking massive maps on launch with full-on stories to create, so many Easter eggs, so many things going on in them. And then they got 1 small one, which you technically only got at launch if you got, you know, the Black Ops Pass. It was a very poor decision in my view. I think they should have stepped back and done what they did for every other game, which was having 2 maps on launch, unless you count, I don't know, Nuketown, I suppose, somewhat on launch, wasn't it? It was part of the...
Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, it's kind of been varied. Because, so let's go through it, okay? So Black Ops 1, you had the main map, which was Kino to Toten. You then had a bonus map, which was 5. Then you had another little bonus map on there, Dead Ops Arcade. Right? You then moved to Black Ops 2. You had Transit, which, granted, yeah, that's 1 big map cut up into little maps as well. And then you had Nuketown as the little bonus. And then you have Black Ops 3, which had Shadows as the main map. And then the Giant as the small map, with another little bonus map in there, Dead Ops Arcade 2. And now with Black Ops 4, you had 3 main maps and then 1 bonus map. It is a massive leap. But you look at the difference in quality between BO3 launch and BO4 launch. It's a world of difference. And BO3 launch only had 2 maps.
The thing as well, though, that you were pointing out there is if you look at the pattern, each one of those games, excluding Black Ops 1 for a minute, because both of those launch maps were quite small, each one of those games had 1 large map, 1 small map. And I guess Dead Ops as like a bonus, right, for some of them. If you look at BO4, it's got 3 massive maps and 1 tiny one. Like, that's really pushing it a bit far there, in my view. As soon as they showed all these big maps that they were going to do on launch for BO4, I already had concerns. I was like, shit, who's writing the story for all of these? Have you got like multiple writers for each one? Surely you can't have the same writer for every single one. It's just going to be a mess. And long and behold, some of those Easter eggs are the worst Easter eggs to date. I mean, it shows. You can't rush these things. You just can't.
I mean, a lot of the maps on BO4's launch were bad because of all the crashes that were happening. And granted, I'm trying to picture a time, right? Okay, where Blood of the Dead was released with absolutely 0 glitches, 0 bugs, just a completely smooth, fleshed out map, kind of like Shadows of Evil. I honestly think my opinion of it would probably change a little bit. There are a couple of things that they changed between Mob and Blood that I dislike. However, I absolutely adore that they gave us more of the island. I think that was definitely the right way to go. Even though people in their reviews say, oh, the part where you spawn, you have no reason to go back there. Well, yeah, but it's still nice to have much larger areas to actually explore than the original
And that
Mob
also
games.
spawn is like the best, like is like maybe probably like the best training spot too.
Yeah.
Where you're going through new industries over through the powerhouse, like where the first power switch is,
Yes.
and then you're going through front of catwalk over towards where the laboratory is, and then you're going back through the new industries.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, I'm just getting these back up again. But Galaxy, what about you, man? What do you think about what Pete said?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's a half-half fault. The community followed a lot of the content creators like blind puppy, just looking at them saying, yeah, they're right. Now, I did the same thing, but I look back at the game, there's a lot of issues. Mostly my issues were the crashes. No matter how many times I've been doing the Easter egg solo, there was always a crash, and it was just irritating me that I didn't want to play. It's their fault. Now, as Joker said, it's their fault for competing with Red Dead. Now, I played Red Dead. The game is completely fucking dead. The online mode's dead. They have not updated in 7. They haven't updated in 7 months. That was stupid for fighting them. They haven't updated it, so that's their fault. But they didn't know the game would be updated that long or had issues in the future. It's their fault for releasing an unstable game, because that game was so unstable that I remember the fucking dogs. Instantly, I died right there, and I was so confused. I was like, that makes no sense. The dogs. The game was so unstable. The perks. Now, the idea, what they did for the perks was a good idea, but for people to follow the community, like the No-J and all that, it's very stupid. Because that's my thing. I'm going to say really quick.
No, sorry, I just thought of something.
People follow the media so much that they believe in anything they say, and that's what I hate. I like to form my own opinions, and my own opinions on Black Ops 4 is it could have had success, but Activision got too scared from a successful developer that did care about their community until now. They got too worried to face against Rockstar Games, and guess what happened? They went down the slope Rockstar just recently did. Modern Warfare, could it be their bounce back? Probably. It's a step in the right direction, but releasing your game too early to fight another developer is the wrong thing. There's so many other smaller companies that have done better. Were their games not great? Yes. Outlast 2, I'm going to say that. Small indie game. They pushed it back many times.
Mhm.
It wasn't a great game. They did good. GTA 5, they pushed it back so many times. Look at it now.
Yeah.
Pushing back your games is a good thing, but Activision got too greedy for money.
It's like I have
As,
two.
as
I have,
like that
sorry, go on.
as like that one quote is, a delayed game is forever bad, no, I mean, a rushed game is forever bad, but delayed game is eventually good.
Hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I have two things to say basically. The first one is what you were saying about them releasing it early to fight Red Dead Redemption 2. It was a fucking stupid thing to do, purely because what game is at the top every single fucking year, no matter where you put it? It's Call of Duty. Okay,
Call of Duty.
Activision need to fucking realize that. Okay, Call of Duty will forever be one of the best-selling games of all time. Okay, it doesn't even matter if one of the most highly anticipated games for years comes out literally the same, like a month early. It doesn't matter. Call of Duty will still top it because the fan base is there and it's fucking huge. Okay, and the second thing, what you were saying about the perks, right? Okay, I had literally the biggest light bulb come on top of my head when I went as soon as you said perks, right? Okay, so you were talking about great idea, wrong execution. Well, picture this, okay? That idea is there, okay? You have the perk machines, okay? You have 4 scattered around the map, okay? But you go up to it and it acts kind of like like those really old machines where you can actually, like, say you have, I don't know, 4 perks in there. You choose 4 perks to put in that one machine. You can then rotate it, okay, to say, so you spend, I don't know, maybe 2,000 points on each perk or 3,000 points on each perk, okay? You hold eggs. You then get the option to choose which perk you want to take out of that machine, and then that's how you get them, okay? I think that would have worked so much better rather than having one perk for each machine and then you cannot change it unless you physically come out of game.
They basically already have that though, Jack, with secret sauce. If you just put secret sauce in all 4 perk slots, then it's exactly what you just said.
Yeah, but this way you're negating secret sauce.
But you're limited, is what you're saying, right? Like you put 4 for each perk slot, and then like it just works as secret sauce, but with those 4 perks only.
Kind of, yeah, basically. But that way you have a way of having all perks on the map. Yeah, you still might be only be able to buy 4, but maybe you complete a challenge that then allows you to get another perk. So you go up to the one machine and then say, I don't know, you go up to it and the one perk you already have is like, I don't know, grayed out or something, or there's a red X over it. So then you have a choice to choose between the other 3 perks in that one machine. Then you get that. And I think, honestly, that would have worked much better.
I can agree, actually. That would be perfect. Just have it where you go up to it, you choose what you want, next go to the next one, but when you go to the next one, that one you already have is X'd out. That just fucking works.
Yeah.
I would like that better.
I think that's an idea that could well be could be executed the right way.
To be honest, if we were to go back to like their marketing about like perks and stuff about like, oh, you get to play however you want, I feel like it was misleading in a way because how I thought it was gonna work, right? It was gonna be like, okay, so we have our 9 perks from BO3, and then we have more from the other games. Like we bring back PhD, we bring back Who's Who, and we also add new perks. So how I thought it was gonna be is that they have multiple set they already have set locations around the map, right? Of like already existing perks of like just the original 4 and maybe like 2 more, right? So that's 6.
Yep.
So what I was thinking is that like if there's a spawn on the map, like let's say for example on Tog, right? So there's a perk location up there on the where Pablo is. It's like it's pretty much just on the other side of the wall, like just opposite of where like you put the stuff at for like on the pallet. So you like, okay, so I could put double tap or jug here. You get to decide that. That's how I thought it was gonna work at first. Instead of 4 set locations, you just put what perk it is.
That could work.
That's how I thought it was gonna be. How I thought it was gonna originally be. At least the way they marketed it as.
The marketing was a little bit misleading. I will agree with you there, definitely.
Yeah.
But
They should have just stuck with. They should have done two different seasons. One just for the Ether, and then for the Chaos.
Yeah.
Start off with
Yes.
Ether.
Yeah.
yes,
Ether
Really
is the
should've.
long-waited thing, and then do Chaos because that's just like, hey, I know you guys are sad, Ether's over, but here's a new, fresh experience. You slam
Mhm.
two stories together with a community that's already anticipated for the end of their 12-year story quest. You're gonna have a division you're gonna split the community in half when they're already in shambles over the state of the game's launch.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I wanted. That's how I wish BO4 was. That like how I believe Alex, you said it was gonna how you wished it would be. It was a big map and a small map. So like Blood of the Dead and Classified, as you said, and
Yeah.
then they finish off Ether just as normal. And then they start off with Chaos, but obviously in order, because by that time they're obviously gonna have like all the voice lines done, because that's why Dead of the Night was delayed, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I wish it would have happened, because then we would have gotten more zombies content over the span of the DLC season.
I still think it was a mistake for Treyarch to start off their new story, like Dead of the Night, with a celebrity cast. I get why they did it, but I think it was a mistake. Because if I'm honest, if you look at Chaos, we had Voyage, we had 9, we got all the story we needed there. While I do love Dead of the Night and I think it's a great map, it was not necessary after those two maps, quite frankly. I could have pretty much done without any of the story from that map. It was irrelevant. I already knew it. So the thing
Honestly,
is
I agree.
that I've been on launch Dead of the Night without the celebrity crew, it probably would have been fine. They should have released the celebrity crew in a later on Chaos map, honestly. It would have been much better and everything would have been a bit more organized. Chaos to me was just not organized. It was a bit all over the place.
Yeah, especially too with how just for how launch happened, because Dead of the Night was supposed to be on launch, and I'm sure all of us know that. And of course, scheduling issues, and then it wasn't on launch. It was first DLC, but then we get no marketing for it, and then people are so confused over what the maps are in order.
Yep.
It was a whole mess. I say sometimes that I think that Chaos shouldn't have been in BO4. It should have just been the game to end Ether.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the other thing that I will say about Chaos is it's slow. It's quite a slow thing to get into, in my opinion, story-wise. And then when it comes to 9 and Ancient Evil, it just all of a sudden like clicked and went, okay, let's go all out. And they did with those maps. But if you look at Dead of the Night and Voyage, especially Voyage, it's just boring. There's just nothing
There's
to
no
it.
there's no emotion. There's no emotion there.
No, there's no emotion.
Yeah.
Like Voyage, actually, you got it right. If you look at the ending of that cutscene, right? Everyone's dying, but no one gives a shit. Like that boat's
Yeah.
sinking, right? People are in trouble. They're just like, right, let's nick a boat for just the 4 of us, and yeah, that's all. It's like, really? What?
Going with emotion, yeah, they needed emotion. Compare Blood of the Dead. All right, the map, the layout, it's not the greatest, but the beginning cutscene and the ending cutscene played so perfectly with your emotion, and hearing the characters' dialogue play was so perfect for the map. Just like hearing the characters, I think it's the only reason why I enjoyed Blood. They made the emotion perfect. They kept that. And that's what you need for a map. You don't need just a cool map like let's play on the Titanic. You need the character's emotion. You need the good writing and the good actors to do it. The voice actors for the Chaos Theory are good, but I don't think the writing was on point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure it was hard too, especially like Craig Houston was working by himself. As I know, is there any other lead writers along with Craig?
Well, I'm
Um,
sure Jason was doing something with Chaos at one point, and I know that one
I-
of the female developers at Treyarch was the one who created
Mhm.
9. She
Yeah.
was literally responsible for 9's existence, none of the others.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah. The problem with Chaos, actually, while I'm here, is it seems to have different writers. Like,
Yeah.
it's all over the
Yeah.
place. This is the problem. There's no consistent writer. Whereas Ether has always had one specific writer all the way through, pretty much, other than, of course, like BO2, we had Jimmy changing to, Jason and so on. But we've always had that specific writer, so it always felt similar. Whereas with Chaos, you had a woman person, I don't know her name, doing the whole of 9, then she goes, then you had, I think it was Jason did Voyage, then Dead of the Night, I think was Craig, and then Ancient Evil, I'm sure was probably Craig, but who knows? Like, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so hard to tell.
It is.
Hmm.
It's-
I'm gonna
okay,
turn
let's,
on the lights.
let's get into the next topic here.
Yeah, we spent a lot on that.
That was a
fucking question.
huge one. There you go. Pete, I'm sure you got a kick out of that, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the next one, Mo?
Leto, do you
Hey.
think zombie health should have a cap?
Do we think zombie health should have a cap? It does, doesn't it, in BO4?
Yes, it does have a
but
cap in BO4, which is roughly somewhere in the 30s, like 36 maybe, I believe, Zombie Who said.
Hmm.
But
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that it comes to a technical standpoint of just making sure that it works. So like
Yeah.
so BO1 and World at War and BO1, I'm not sure about BO2. But I'll just say BO2 anyways. Those 3 games, they have insta kill rounds because their health doesn't cap. It just keeps progressively going. So there's insta kill rounds, but it's like not consistent because it's a glitch. It's not supposed to happen within their algorithm for their zombie health. But with BO3 and BO4, I don't think BO3 has a cap.
I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure the health continues to grow, no matter what round you're on.
Okay.
Like you could be getting into the hundreds, and you would be, if you were to use like a ray gun, you'd be doing fuck all damage.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So BO3 basically fixed the insta kill issue, right? So there was no insta kill rounds at BO3, and with BO4 they have a health cap at like 35 or 36, and then basically if a weapon kills on 35, it'll kill on 100.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. It's so inconsistent.
I mean, to answer the question, do we think they should have a cap? I think. See, the thing is, I think they should, but they should make the cap at a decent round. Me personally, I think round 35 for a health cap is too low. I'd say they need to go maybe 50, 60, and then the health cap is there. Because then that would cater for people who are just playing casually, or the people who are properly going for the high rounds. And so I'd say that mediocre there, 50, 60. I think that should be the health cap. I don't know about the rest of you.
I'd say no cap, just because that's just that's just how Zombies has always worked until BO4. But I'd say BO3 is perfect for zombie health because there's no insta kill rounds, but you have weapons that do kill on those high rounds.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And even the specialist weapons, they're insta damage, aren't they? Infinite damage.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
yeah.
are. Yeah.
So you have those.
I'm not sure about Ragnarok's, to be honest, but I know for a fact Galaxy and then Skull and Subway. I'm not totally sure about Ragnarok's though.
Rags are.
I think and more in the high round.
Yeah, people use those to get to around 100, don't they?
They use that for classified. What,
Mhm.
Well, that's BO4.
You talk about
Yeah,
the
it's
BO3, the BO3 rags.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure
true,
the
the
BO3
BO3
rags do infinite damage because people use them in the strategies for revelations to get to
Oh,
the
yeah,
hundreds.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so they are.
the sword in shadows, if you're just swinging it, I'm pretty sure that does have a cap. But if you're using the one that flies around you, that is infinite damage. I can tell you that for a
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
fact.
Yeah.
That is infinite
Yeah,
damage.
that is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that I was on round 105 and that thing was fucking killing zombies like there's no tomorrow. Like
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was nuts.
you go for high rounds on shadows, get the freaking upgraded sword. Advice from a pro. So, but that. Okay,
So, yeah,
so there you go.
So I guess we all agree on no health
Yeah.
cap, but like just basically just a BO3 system.
The
Yeah,
BO,
free
yeah,
system
I
is the
like
way-
that.
Yeah, it's
very
the way
much.
forward.
Yeah.
Agree. Very.
Okay. Next.
All right.
Next one.
Erica asked, "Why does everyone seem to hate Shangri-La? What are your personal thoughts?"
Shangri-La. Jesus.
Yes.
I
Shangri-La.
don't think. I'm gonna go first for this. I don't think people hate Shangri-La. It's just at the time. I think, to be honest, I think Shangri-La was ahead of its time in terms of difficulty, because at that time we're so used to big open areas that we can train zombies in, and not a small compact, well, not really small, but like a compact zombies map. We weren't used to that at the time. So like there was hardly, just pretty much no training spots except for the high round strategy that I know of. Well, there's two actually. But it's like really hard to do. You need a lot of practice for that. But with the other maps in BO1, you really didn't need practice. If you just knew how to look around and sprint, you know how to train.
Shang, I actually have to admit, I think gets way more hate than it deserves. I personally love Shang. But
Absolutely.
Shang, actually, it's ironic, because if you look at the two most hated maps of BO1, you got 5 and you got Shang.
Mhm.
And what do both of those maps have in common?
They're
They're
compact.
small,
Compact
they're tight,
spaces.
they're compact spaces. And I mean, nobody liked that. Personally, I like that because I like the challenge, but nobody else liked that. Everyone liked Call of the Dead, which was open as hell. Yes, you had George following you, but you could get away easily. Same with Ascension, you could just train up on the pads or something.
Yep.
And the thing with Shang as well, which I think is probably one of the reasons why people hated it quite a bit, is the Flamer zombie and the Shrieker. So, in particular, the Flamer. And actually, I'll admit, he is a pain in the ass sometimes, because if you're trying to train somewhere and he just so happens to walk in the middle of your train, he really hurts the living hell out of you. Like, he damages the crap out of the player. It's like,
Yep.
it's horrendous. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Also, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it, having a Shrieker blind you? Like, especially if you don't see them, like, while you're training, and then they just go in your face, and then you can't see anything. You're like, oh, shit. So, yeah.
I'd say
I can see it.
definitely one of the main reasons behind Shang's hate is because it is a small, compact, and really hard map. You have the vast majority of the player base that hates the map because of that, but then again, you have a part of the majority of the player base that actually likes it for that reason. And so I think Shang, I wouldn't class Shang as a A-tiered map. I would say it's a very love-hate map, in the sense that it depends on what you're doing on the map. Like, I absolutely love the Easter egg on Shangri-La. I love the story of Brock and Gary. I think they are wonderful characters and they are such a laugh. They remind me a lot of like a very comedic duo. And I think the steps on Shangri-La, they aren't that bad. I'd say they're quite user friendly, I'd say. Shang in Chronicles looks absolutely gorgeous. That definitely has it going for it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's one of the
gorgeous.
prettiest maps of all time. 100%.
Definitely.
But I'd say people do hate Shang. The bosses, yes, they do cause problem, but once the napalm is killed, zombies who run into the fire actually die, and that is
That's
infinite
cool.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You can use
like
the
that.
napalm as a weapon. The
Yeah.
napalm
Yeah.
zombie
Yeah.
as a weapon.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
You can optimize.
that was
you
good.
can use the screamer as a weapon as well, because if you kill that,
Yeah.
it blows off all their heads. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not in there to
Yeah.
wind you up. They're in there to actually serve a purpose and actually kind of help you in a weird way.
Mm.
So, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Joker, that it definitely gets more hate than it deserves.
I think, to be fair though, actually, Shang has got a lot less hate over the years, mainly probably because of other maps that have come along that are just terrible or outright.
I'd say Shang got the treatment of it got better over time.
Yes,
Yes.
It
definitely.
got that treatment, just like how Zetsubo did. Both
Yeah.
those maps got a better reputation over time.
I'd even
Yeah.
say Shadows as well, because people
Oh yeah,
didn't,
absolutely.
people didn't like Shadows
Uh,
on launch, but now people come to look at it as one of the best maps.
Yes.
So you will have maps like that. I mean,
Hmm.
Galaxy, what about you? What do you think about the whole Shang hate?
I preferably, at first, Shane was just like an ant to me, but played it a couple more times, loved it. It just depends what you do. If you're going for high rounds, you got to be strategic with the zombies you're facing. It's just, you got to think outside the box, because it's not just like Kino where you just train around the stage, or
Mhm.
Moon, or just whatever. You have to be smart. You have to figure out how to get out of the situation. It's being predictive and strategic with your playthrough.
Yes.
If you're doing the Easter egg, then that's just a whole different story. I've only done the Easter egg once, and I got carried through it. But that just how the characters are in that, Brock and Gary, amazing, yes. But it's just how you play the map is what makes your experience. That's how I
would
think
say
it goes. with
That
that.
I will agree with.
Yeah, I would say also that Shang, for those out there that want to learn how to do tighter trains in general for zombies, is the perfect map to practice that on. Quite frankly, it's a great map to learn it for.
Shane helped me learn how to juke zombies perfectly. Helped me on that.
So, but yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we basically say about that. I think we have one. Is it one or two more topics?
One more on this list I have.
Okay.
Northern Light asks, "What is your most beloved quote, and who is it from?"
Beloved quote. Ooh, that's actually a really interesting question. I mean, I have so many. I think. I mean, it is hard for me, but one quote that will always stick out to me, will be Arlington's quote of Nikolai. Why do I keep hearing that name? I think it because it generated so much mystery as to how the Weasel knew Nikolai, and that's something that's always fascinated me. So I'd say that quote in terms of like story character side, in terms of like more funny comedic side, it had to be one of the first quotes I heard from Nikolai on Ascension was when he held X on the Matryoshka dolls, and he's just like, "That sister used to make these. She's a bitch." Like that just made me crack up laughing. So I'd say those. But that Arlington one definitely. But what about you guys?
I mean, I have a lot of favourite quotes in Zombies over the years. So many, and I mean, a lot of the funny ones are great. They're a great laugh, actually. And actually, the Nikolai quote is something quite unique, I think, in Zombies. It really kept everyone guessing for a long time, so I agree with that one. However, for me, lately, possibly this is to do with just sitting down for hours on end, listening to radios and things. But actually, some of the Avogadro's quotes in Alpha Omega are actually really quite interesting. If you listen to them hard enough, like these are the ones from the TV in the house specifically, not like when you see him and fight him in the boss fight. Those are cool. But the ones on the TV are quite interesting because he actually, like, you hear this before you even meet him, right? In the map. and he's basically predicting the entirety of the future for those characters. It's actually really interesting. If you listen to those quotes from that TV in a lot of detail, it pretty much tells you the entirety of Tag the Totem before we saw Tag the Totem. Seriously, go and listen to those TV quotes. You'll be amazed what you hear. I mean, you've got the Avogadro talking about Nikolai reading the Chronorium. You've got him talking about how Richtofen's a failure because he didn't take the advantage of using the MPD properly, and how the Avogadro himself was actually the better person for being able to control it properly, even though technically he's being controlled. But, you know, overall, there's so many interesting quotes from that seriously, you will learn a lot of story from that. And actually, I think if more people have found that on Alpha Omega before we got Tag, it really would have stirred up some conversation in the community. Unfortunately, no one really did. But yeah, it's cool. There are some great quotes there.
I didn't really realize Avogadro goes that deep.
Oh,
Yeah,
he does.
It kind of just makes me. It kind of just makes me think like for
What happened
as
to
we
him in
know,
transit?
no, but like just how much love like Treyarch put in these last two maps. Just how much love and care they put into them.
Yeah.
Well, especially for like such an insignificant character like the Avogadro, who never said
Yeah.
anything before in transit, was a bit of a pain in the ass, and now he's all of a sudden become such a big thing in zombies. It's crazy. I was so happy actually with the amount of love they put into the Avogadro. I think they did wonders with him, to be honest.
I honestly really like that that kind of that Blundell and Craig kind of retcon some of the things that Jimmy did. Like we had no idea what the fuck the Avogadro was in transit. We had no idea what it was. But then in Alpha Omega, we know that it's Purnell.
Yep.
It puts it kind of gives transit that more of a that it really kind of does, you know, feel like that it's supposed to exist.
That
It
pat
kind of
on
just
the
puts
back.
that feel to it. Yeah, exactly, Galaxy.
Just need to do it for Die Rise.
Okay, Kyle,
God.
Galaxy, Spike, who's your favorite quote?
I have like 3, but one of them is, I've got to say this. Just hearing Richtofen every time say this, I just feel this sad connection with him. It's this: what I do, Dempsey, I do to secure the better tomorrow. Him saying that is just amazing. I feel like he tries, but he doesn't. He's afraid. He knows what's going to happen. He knows what he has to do correctly, but he doesn't want to do it fully. We've seen that in Blood. He tries to avoid the inevitable. He tries, but he just knows he can't. And just hearing him say that makes me feel, I don't know, it just makes me feel sad for him. Like, if anything, that's for the story-wise of me that I like. That's why I like that quote, but like non-story-wise, it's from Nixon from 5. Like, every time I hear this,
Nope.
Oh,
Galaxy, I think your mic's gone, dude. Either that or his Discord's crashed.
Anyone got a Nixon quote while we're here?
Fucking hell, it's been a while since I played 5.
dude, I just remember the intro cutscene of like, there's this fucking JFK like, sit down, dick. It's just a storm.
Oh, that'll always be funny.
That was
Oh yeah.
Sounds like someone's breaking in.
Sit down, dick. It's a storm.
I mean,
Times like these.
yeah.
Oh man, that's a
Dude,
great.
I love the meme mix of that where it's like, it sounds like someone's posting cringe. I fucking love that so much.
Carl, what about you? Well, have you got a favorite quote?
I like what you said about the Nikolai quote, because somehow, like, when I entered BO3, like, being fascinated by shadows and then finding out that and then back ending my way during BO3 playing Mob when Der Eisendrock was out at the time. That's the first time I played Mob, and then I loved Mob, and then I went back and found out that wait, the Mob plane is in Shadows. I was at the same time simultaneously watching Johnny J and all these people talk about it. I'm like, wait, and I'm like, dang, these all connect. And that's why they become my favorite like maps and stuff. So like the Nikolai quote, kind of like what Galaxy said on the end of, I really loved BO3, like the memories sections when they would go deep into like saying stuff but not really knowing what's going on, and the whole idea of like Richtofen the whole way through BO3, we don't know. We think like, okay, is he good? Because he's like, is he bad? Like, is he holding back information because it's evil, or is it good? But it really, in the end, it's just him like juggling. I know I've got to basically go to Blood of the Dead. I basically have to die, but I don't want to. So those quotes kind of like really hit deep, and looking back, it's like really cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't know though, like fun. Like there's so many funny quotes that even some that I can't remember. I mean, like when Dempsey, I think in like BO1 or BO1 will say like, you know, something about Treyarch. He'll actually call Treyarch out. I like that because that makes it very much like breaking that wall. You know, he's actually aware that Treyarch's making the game and that he's a character basically. Or like Jackie Vincent. I don't know. So many people got annoyed by Jackie Vincent, but I just loved his tirades. It's like, nobody listens to fucking Jackie Vincent.
Dude, he lost his fucking mind so fast to that map.
Yeah, you could see the slow. Yeah, it's he's funny. He's great.
Galaxy, you back?
Yeah, technical difficulties.
That's fine, man. It's not a zombie podcast without technical difficulties. It's just...
really.
Anyway, so you were saying about Richtofen's quote about no, we covered that. It was about the Nixon quote.
Oh, Nixon quote. It's him. It's just like a funny quote. I like, not going into story wise. The funny quote is from Nixon. When he's pack punching, he goes, "This is me waiting. This is me waiting on drugs. Hurry the fuck up." Just him standing there waiting. The 5 characters have the funniest quotes to me.
Oh yeah, they do.
They were a great crew. They were a fun crew.
I have Nixon's quote, like one of his quotes is my text tone, and it goes, "Burn, hippie, burn." So I'm just standing there, all you hear is "Burn, hippie, burn."
That's great.
Yeah.
I gotta say, my favorite quote has to be the epilogue of Nikolai just talking and the ending of Tog. Just his whole epilogue.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Oh my god. Alright, if we're talking like different things here, funny is that Ultimus Nikolai quote. Story wise is the Al Larlington quote, but emotional wise, were more than just my allies, my brothers in arms. You were my friends. Like, fuck me. Every time I hear that, I shed a tear, dude. Oh, that right there. That line in itself is beautiful writing.
You want to know another beautiful quote? It's from Mob of the Dead. Let me see if I still have it. I know I just love the Mob of the Dead quotes that I honestly wrote them down. A lot of my favorite. Beautiful quotes like that hurt. You can feel the character's pain. It's amazing. This one, I forgot who says it, but I just wrote it down. Am I stuck here until I see the error of my ways, until I represent?
Billy.
Well, you're gonna have to wait a damn long time because I
I
don't
don't regret a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Billy.
Yeah.
There are so many good quotes.
Yeah, that trailer's good. Yeah.
That music trailer. It's
God.
Yeah, that's a good one. That.
But honestly, Blood's music trailer, fucking hell, dude, that is a masterpiece in itself.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the best thing about Blood of the Dead. That fucking trailer.
Yeah. Between those two, man.
Bro, that trailer had me all sorts of fucked up.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. They honestly, I don't think they'd be able to top that. If I'm being truthful.
I just can't believe they were able to do Mob and Blood's trailer just so well. Like I feel like the same for both. Like equally, they're so good.
Yeah. Okay. There was one more topic submitted by Pete, and this is actually a non-zombie related topic. We do, by the way, guys, we do allow non-zombie related topics. Like this is just fun things for us to talk about at the end of the show. What I will ask is A, keep them clean, and B, keep them away from politics. Okay, I don't want to discuss anything about bullshit politics. Okay, but everything else is perfectly fine. Film, TV, music, anything like that. And what he asks is, who's everyone's favorite Joker actor from the Batman movies / TV series? Mine is 100% Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, 100%.
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
He is Joker, just like Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. He is Joker.
I'll just agree with you guys. I haven't seen any Batman movies.
Actually, it was funny because me and Kyle were talking about this.
Right.
It's really ironic that. I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who played basically the Joker in Gotham, he's the guy who's the main character in Jedi Fallen Order. The ginger-haired dude. I can't remember his name, the actor, but I thought he did actually a really good job of Joker. Like, in theory, he's not as serious as such as Heath Ledger's Joker was, but he does a good job of being completely mental. He does such a good job at that. It's absolutely crazy how mental he can get in that show sometimes. But also, he's quite amusing at points as well, and I love that. I think he is a great Joker, honestly. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that did a good job, but honestly, Heath Ledger made the role his own. He made the role the iconic, that iconic. So
yeah, definitely.
So definitely, I'd say him.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up today's podcast, which we're closing in on 3 hours and 2 minutes for this episode of the podcast. Over 3 hours long. I'll tell you what, it was a wonderful discussion. I thoroughly enjoyed every single second of this episode. Big thank you to Alex and Galaxy for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was awesome being here. I appreciate it. I really do.
You're welcome.
I love being here. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. And honestly, to both of you, honestly, I think I'm going to start doing this now, actually. Do us a favor. Please promote the show. We are always looking for guests to come on and discuss all things zombies. So if you ever do have anyone who might be interested, feel free to let us know and just promote it out. We're always looking to branch out to different people. So please do what you can.
Absolutely.
But big thank you to Kyle and Spike again, my co-host. I could not do this show without both of you by my side. So thank you so much, guys. For that though, we're going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to click that thumbs up button and comment down below what your favorite part of today's episode was. For now, stay safe. We will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. British Standard Time. Sorry, 6:30 p.m. British Standard Time for the next episode of ZombSquad.